दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
Hyderabad Punjab Express Rajasthan Station Netaji Bhavan.
It's supposed to be a day off in the IPL, but you know what they say? Ain't no rest for the wicked, man. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Come on, say it with me. Come on, Joy, Harsha.
Ain't
no rest for the
no
wicked,
rest for the
man.
wicked, man.
Ain't no rest for the
I'm
wicked.
not going beyond that. Joy, you didn't even start.
I was waiting to sort of.
Ain't no
You get the
rest
beat?
for the wicked, man.
Ain't no rest for the wicked. Okay. Now you just left me stranded there.
Put your fingers down.
Sure.
Put your fingers down. There you go. Put the weed down. That ranks as the most awkward beginning for any show in the history of live broadcasting.
Do you need to prove to everyone that I'm a boomer within 60 seconds of the show starting? They could have waited. They would have found out 15 minutes later. Do you need to do this immediately as the show starts? That's all I want to know.
We'll just cut that entire portion out and start with this. Good evening. Welcome to Voltas Presents Cricbuzz Live. Welcome to Boomer Presents Joy Bhattacharya. That's very good though. I liked it. But listen, you're not a boomer if you genuinely attempt it. What about the gent on your left who just ducked out of it midway?
Did he?
Yeah.
Look, he tempted me into it and then he ducked out.
Yeah. Very bad.
Like it happens with music and shows, whatever. The two of you talk to each other and I listen, right? So the two of you were doing something, so I was just moving my hands around.
It's a nice jacket, but...
As long as we're not flailing no limbs over here, because a few teams did that, and a few actually hit the ground running and went all the way. We're talking about all the way means 4 teams qualified, 6 teams got eliminated. But today in this show that is called the... Naam kya hai, sir, show ka? Let's call it Montu. On this show, which is called the Montu Edition, we will review all 10 teams and how they went in the league. I'm Gaurav Kapur. As I said, with me, Harsha Bhogle and Joy Bhattacharya. And the two of them will now look at me with reverence, respect, awe, and celebration. As I tell, look at Harsha's face. Just look at his face.
I was waiting for
He's
the
like,
next
why?
word.
Why? The only thing he does well is order food for us. And sometimes I forget the vegetarians and that as well. Why? Because I will jog your memory back to the stormy night. That was the 20th of March. 2025.
Oh, he's going to talk to us about preview show.
Yes. Which
And
was
tell us how we...
Which was
messed
called
up.
Ricky. Ricky Martin. That was the nickname of that show. Where we predicted who our 4 qualifiers would be. Just in case memories need to be refreshed.
Yes.
As happens with boomers, we will show them once again. And as you can see on the left, you have... By the way, I just want to tell you that I had only chosen 4. As opposed to Joy, who had... No, Joy had chosen 4? Had Joy? Yes. As opposed to Harsha, who had chosen... How many had you chosen? Oh, you had also chosen 4. All right. There's a lot of cross fingers there.
Joy for a while had chosen 1.
Then we had to tell him that there will
That you have to pick
4 qualify.
So because he had picked KKR and then he was trying to look around and he ran out of time.
I want to say one thing out here. Yes, I got 2 right out of the 4.
Yeah.
Of my 2 fingers crossed, one of them was Punjab.
Finger cross to kuch nahi hota, sir.
Fingers crossed means I think they had a chance.
Finger cross ka matlab ye hota
you had
Basically, he's
all-
trying to say he got 2.5 and I got 2. Basically.
Yeah, exactly that.
They're all boomer jokes.
Wapis lao. Wapis lao samne. Okay, so there you go. I've got Bangalore, Gujarat and Mumbai.
Gujarat not counted because you just went out of friendship.
Okay.
So your Gujarat is not counted because you went out of friendship.
Okay,
so
bring
you
it back.
didn't
now.
do an analysis.
You want to wait? You keep finding caveats. I'll keep finding. Bring back. You have chosen. You chose Bangalore and Mumbai.
Yes.
You chose Mumbai because you live here, so it's not counted, right? You chose RCB out of pressure. You chose out of pressure, sir.
I chose RCB so that my trolling decreases by about I only
by
get
0.5%.
By
not
6 to 8%.
yeah. So I only get about 686 vulgar messages every day.
Yeah. And out of those, I mean, 600 are from people you know. And are actually consensual. It's a consensual.
Tell me,
about
why
85
are
are
we
from.
taking all this from this
I
kid?
know. Just because he's got 3 out of 4.
That's right.
And you're going to hear about it for the rest
But
of
you
our
know,
lives.
the real classy guys, they carry their success lightly. If you have to show off your success, there's a problem, right?
That's true. That just means I'm not classy. Please, my Aadhaar card says Gurgaon. Where?
Yeah, exactly. He's a Delhi boy.
Huh?
Where do
What
you
are saying?
expect?
Please. before I take my Jeep and drive it on the divider, please don't mess with me, okay?
Before you give up your signature.
Or on the beach in Goa.
Or on the beach in Goa also?
They take their SUVs on the beach in Goa, no?
Oh, really?
Because
इतने
there.
पैसे कहाँ हैं सर हम लोगों के पास कि गोवा में जाके गाड़ी रेंट करें ऐसा तो नहीं होता. But 3 out of 4, I just want to tell you that the team that I want to tell you that the team that I didn't choose, which was Punjab, and I want to tell you why I didn't choose it because that'll also we'll talk about it in detail later. But that's the great thing that has happened for them. I felt like out of the dozen coaches and the dozen captains they've had, their problem has been that coach and captain have not been in sync. If they're in sync, the management is not in sync. So there's 3 power centers, which is coach, captain, and management, and they somehow were never in sync. That triangle was always a little off. It was isosceles. It's never equilateral. This season, they have surprised, and I said that at the time. I said if they get that right, this team could do really well. And I'm actually genuinely really happy because I like Shreyas as a character, and they've done that really well.
No, they've done that absolutely brilliantly. And I think that's the one great thing. If coach and captain have a prior relationship which is good, and see, it's a very interesting thing. Psychologically, it's fantastic that, say, you are a coach and captain. I'll give you a very good example. When I met John Wright in 2008, in 2006, when you met him, he's had short up. There are good points, there are bad points. He's okay. He's done with coaching India. He goes. He said in 2008, 2 years after I gave up coaching India, did I realize so many of Shaurav's strengths.
Yeah.
So sometimes you coach. You're the coach and the captain in 2020-21, and you work together, and then he's gone. You've had another guy.
Just some hindsight.
It also gives you a little bit of a perspective of how good or bad he is.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because when he sits on the auction table, they have all the money. They have the most money of all the teams, Punjab.
Yeah.
So he can go for Rishabh Pant or Shreyas Iyer.
Yep.
That
True.
choice is in his hand. Nobody can outbid him on any player.
Yep.
And he goes with Shreyas.
Yeah, they went with Shreyas, and Shreyas has done so well for them. I just want to say one more thing out of that entire chart. We all went with Hyderabad because 2 seasons ago, we
Went for Hyderabad.
and then they didn't qualify. Then last year, we didn't go for Hyderabad and they qualified. And this year, we all went for Hyderabad and they didn't qualify. And last year, we all got trolled so much.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me. And I'm just saying that this year, how come? What?
क्या बोल रहे हैं?
I'm saying that
हमारी
trolling.
जुबान ऐसी लग रही है तुम्हारे को?
No, I'm saying the trolling when
अच्छा,
people
ऐसा,
troll.
हाँ.
When people troll,
Oh.
that for me, I read it as so this
Sad
year, how come we're not getting any
Sad people.
huh?
Sad people.
The trolls.
Trolls, yeah. They're so sad that they're now drowned in their own sadness. So they're not there. They're gone.
That's a really eerie and dark insight. I thought my was a little lighter than that.
2 things about you mentioned, Punjab and Hyderabad. Punjab, you said there was a triangle with all 3 coming together.
Yes.
No. The captain and the coach came together. Before the tournament started, they bought an S400. And they ensured that all the management stuff was not getting into the team.
Yeah.
Because the management is now in court.
Oh. Okay.
Against each other.
Yeah.
And the team is going onto another planet. So whatever was happening in the management has not filtered through into the team.
So then, in a way, that just says that because they were busy, there was perhaps just a carte blanche.
No.
According to me, I feel a carte blanche from ownership and management to people who are captain and coach. I think that, according to me, is also an equilateral triangle. When you just give them a free hand to do what they're hired to do.
And I read something very interesting that Shashank said. He said the very first day, Ricky Ponting told us that we will treat the captain and the driver the same in this team. There is no class system, there's nothing. And on the first day, everyone kept going to him and saying, Ricky sir. He said, call me punter, call me Ponting, call me Ricky.
Yeah.
Anyone says sir is out.
I'll tell you a great story about Ricky Ponting. 2008, he comes to the Kolkata dressing room, okay? He's Ricky Ponting, Australia captain, one of the legendary cricketers. Even Gill was not there. So he's perhaps the biggest name walking into the KKR dressing room.
Yeah.
Goes straight up, walks straight in, ignores us because he's met us anyway, it doesn't matter. Goes to all the
Maybe he
players
just wanted to ignore you. But
anyway, hi, I'm Ricky, you can call me Ponter or Punting, whatever you want to, so and so. Introduces himself to all the players and he was fantastic. And to date, till he was playing, which is about 3-4 years back, Lakshmi Ratan Shukla used to hit a pull because Ricky taught him that pull shot and then message Ricky and try and send him the video saying, I learned this from you.
Oh, lovely. I love that.
So that's Ricky Ponting.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I mean, I have to tell you that it happens on our show as well. right? It happens on our show. We have a legend sitting here, and he first day came in, called me Gaurav sir, and I said, please don't do that. All right, don't. Just it's GK or Gaurav, it's fine. We've lost joy now.
Look, I'm not well. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Okay, well, let's show you some of the... We've lost him. He's gone. Please drink some hot water, sir. Sir. We're going to show you some of the cool things that happened in this season. The summer of 2025. Here are all the cool things that happened here, all the weird things, the strange things that happened.
That's longer than Joy's Joy Factor question some days.
It's a solid one, but I think that what I really liked is when the fastest playoff call. So I'll go with the first point because it happened last week. Like last week, you got locked 4 Qs, 6 Cs, it was all done. And then you thought, oh man, the rest of the games are going to be dull. What's going to happen? They're like dead robbers. But they were not till the last game, which was last night till 11:45 p.m. because the game went on for 2 days. It was just exciting till the very end.
And there was something to play for.
Yeah.
Because 1 versus 2 is so important because you get 2 bites of the pineapple.
That's right. I like that.
No, sorry, the watermelon. You get 2 bites of the watermelon. It's so important to finish 1 or 2. Only one team has ever finished outside the top 2 and won the IPL since the system started. So everyone wants to be in the top 2. And all the E's beat all the Q's.
Yeah, 4 matches in a row.
How fantastic was that?
Yeah.
So the E's weren't just saying, chalo, koi baat nahi, see you next year. You know, like in boarding school, see you next year. Chalo, what do we do tonight? No, they came out fighting, and that was great about this year's IPL.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you flunked a few exams, the last one you take, you want to ace that, and they really did. What about all the other stats on that? Which one did you like? There was a lot of 200 plus scores.
No, I thought for me mostly the openers and a lot of Indian openers out there like Priyansh Arya, Prabh Simran, new pairs establishing themselves.
Yeah, and Sai and
Sudarshan, Shubman. So fantastic, lot of great opening partnerships and the way they were taking the game on early. You know, Abhishek, of course, Travis said Abhishek, not a great season, but in the 2 or 3 matches they fired together, they just could change a match trajectory in the very first 5 overs. And I thought that was fantastic.
Which one did you like out of that?
Right at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because the bowlers have to constantly reinvent. They're like fashion designers. They've got to come up with something new every year.
Yeah.
And there was a time when the Yorker was the best ball. Then there was a time when people started moving around in the crease and playing fancy lap shots and finding ways of playing the Yorker. And then the hard lengths came back. I was delighted when the hard lengths came back. Even this year, the hard length was still a very good ball to bowl if you had the pace to carry it off.
Yeah.
If you bowled one nice, gentle, hard length, you got a ball nice, gentle outside the stadium. But the Yorker came back. And the Yorker is such a difficult ball to bowl. But the return of the Yorker, it just tells me whatever happens, blue jeans don't go out of fashion.
Yeah,
the Yorker never goes out of fashion. Yeah. Someone might find a way around it for a while, but I love the fact that the Yorker came back. And it's a tribute to those that can bowl it consistently.
Yeah, it's such a...
Can I also add one more thing on that? That I want one rule change and I've been thinking about it for a while, which is that here, you have a crease. This is where the batter is. The batter is a right-handed batter or a left-handed batter. Let's assume he takes stance. Okay. Now, at this point in time, the umpire knows what is, if the batter is standing there, what is a wide on this side, what's a wide on that side.
Yep.
Now, my point is, why can't we just have a situation where the wide is called basis where the batter is first standing?
Okay.
Because he goes out, 3 feet outside the off stump and tries to hit something and it goes straight down. It shouldn't be a wide. My point is that when the batter moves around, why should the lines move around with him? Because what I'm telling you is that it is giving the batter an extra advantage because he's the guy who's moving around.
Yeah.
So I'm saying fix where the ball is. After that, if the ball just goes just outside the leg stump, which would have hit the batter on his leg if he had been standing where he was, why is it a wide?
Yeah.
The bat is moved.
Fair.
So all I'm saying is, please decide what the tram line is at the start of a delivery.
Yeah.
Okay. Fix it with his stance, and then wherever the batter moves, those lines stays there.
Okay, fair point.
Because I really feel the batters take great advantage out of it. They move and then they say, okay, the line, he's moved inside, therefore that's a wide.
Yeah.
And a lot of wides, especially when the ball is short, is going over your head and you say, hold on, that would have gone over his shoulder.
Fair.
It's because the batters move this side, it's called a wide, and it shouldn't be.
Here's the thing, in T20 cricket, you basically want the bowlers to have more sway and the batters to have a little less power.
Yeah, absolutely.
T20 cricket, yeah, dream on. Nice, I like that. I like your optimism.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, someday, maybe, you never know, that will happen. But right now, with the batters, with the impact subs, with scores of 200 plus becoming even more prevalent this year than last year, you realize this is not completely a bowler's format, which is why Mr. Bhogle said that stat is his favorite. Because when you can do that, despite it being a batter advantage, a batter-friendly game, that just makes it even more beautiful to watch. All right, we're going to start with things that were not beautiful to watch because as we do in this league review show, which we are calling Montu from today, we start from number 10 and work our way up. You have a neighbor called Montu, don't you? We all do.
Montu, in Bengal about... No, in
Bengal also?
Kolkata, Montu is a Bengali name.
In Monty?
Monty. No, Monty is not a Bengali name. Montu.
Okay, Montu. So do you know any?
No, continue.
No, do you know any Montu?
As you said, two of you.
Just asking you also. Do you know any Montu?
Lots of Montus. Wasn't Shami Kapoor Montu or Montu in all his movies?
Monty, he was Monty.
Monty.
Yeah, Monty, but never Montu. Montu is a nice name. I like Montu. All right, let's have a look. Let's call our director that. Montu, graphic lagao, points table ka. Come on, let's do that. So this is how it has ended. Right at the top, Punjab. They're going to play RCB in the first qualifier, and then Gujarat and Mumbai will play in the eliminator, and that's how the cookie crumbled for the rest of the teams. Hyderabad ended up working their way up and getting to 13 points in 6th position. Chennai and Rajasthan right in the end with just 4 wins, so a season for them to forget. For KKR, defending champions, finishing at number 8, so one for them to forget as well. And Lucknow, they must be thinking that they could have had that game yesterday, but Jitesh and the RCB batting were just too good. Let's start with Chennai. Let's go straight into the Lions' den and just talk about what all went wrong for them this year. Because, well, that list is long, but if you just kind of summarize it, are we seeing the 2025 season as a season where they perhaps moved away from their business model that has worked so well, got them so many trophies, which is we get players of a certain vintage, we get experienced players, and we can optimize their skill towards, well, the evening of their career. And they went mid-season towards youth, and that youth's kind of paid off for them.
It's like the world has moved to dual SIMs, but I'm selling the same old phone.
Yeah.
And then somewhere you suddenly realize, no, I need a dual SIM.
Yeah.
But by then it's too late. I think it was a bit like that. They missed the trend, and their style of playing would have been very well suited if they had control of the pitches that they were getting.
Yeah.
If they were playing 150, 160 pitches, then I think the season could have been different because the team would have been structured for that. Ashwin would have been a different bowler, Jadeja would have been a different bowler, Noor anyway got 24 wickets. I'm not a big fan of this, of a central authority deciding the pitches, but that's the way it is. If that's the way it is, you have to play with it. I still think there should be a very, very strong home advantage. Yeah. Not bad pitches, but a home advantage. But if that's not the case, then your teams have to adapt. Sunrisers had to adapt but couldn't. Chennai had to adapt but couldn't. But the green shoots, for Chennai, this was the season of the parched land and the green shoots.
Yeah.
And the green shoots came up later. And if you now look at their team, you got Ayush Mhatre, Urvil Patel, Matisha Patirana, there's many others, Noor Ahmed.
Noor.
At the core of that team...
Deval Brevis.
Deval Brevis, I think they're player of the season in some ways, him and Noor. There's a lot of those, and Ruturaj Gaikwad's not the oldest. When they come back in, they'll have a core that is pretty much a certain age. Anshul Kamboj came back. I thought he had a very good season. So there's a nice young core that's come good in the end. Yeah. And now we've got to see if these young shoots will flower next year.
And of course, what MS said to you in that post-match presentation where he said that Rituraj has nothing to worry about.
Doesn't have too many problems. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, doesn't have anything to worry about, which sounded encouraging, but if you just read it on a piece of paper, it could sound like a Godfather dialogue as well. A little scary. But there was nothing scary there because what he meant is that there is a core. You can see the future or the next few seasons for CSK kind of show up in the last few games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's the problem. They started, if you see the start, they hit the least sixes in the power play. They just could not get going. And now if you've seen that stat, the one thing we've seen is opening partnerships are so vital. Yeah. And this is what it is. First 6 games, 7.5. I mean, after that, how are you going to, you've lost 10 wickets in the power play. In the first 6 games, you've lost. After that, just see the way they've, gone up, they've upped the ante. And the moment you've upped the ante, you've given your middle order something to go with because you don't have that much power before that. And this is the essential issue with Chennai, that when they, he said something very important, that they were constructed for 150, 160, 170 scores and wickets. So they were telling themselves, okay, if we get this much, we are going to be competitive. These are the kind of batters we need to get that. And those batters will not deliver in a tournament where you're going to get 180, 200 as par scores. And that's exactly what happened. It was constructed for a different tournament. It was constructed for a different home conditions.
Yeah.
And yes, that was one part of it. The other part of it is that once it started falling apart, the cracks started showing very deeply, And you bought back expensive assets who haven't done much for you. I mean, if, say, somebody like Ashwin had returned at, say, 3 crores or 2.5 crores, 3 crores, he came back to, I think, over 9 crores,
Yeah, he's not had a season to remember for sure.
No, he's not. And he'll be the first to understand that. Knowing him, if I do, he'll go back, he'll play the TNPL now.
Yeah.
He'll start to see if the ball is coming out of his hand the way it should. And he will himself take a call on next year. Because he will play cricket. With a lot of players, you don't know how much cricket they'll play. But he'll take a call next year. I hope the decision will be his. Because otherwise, if CSK decide that, sorry, we're looking at younger players, then it might not be the best homecoming for him.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't remember him for that, if this is indeed his last IPL, because he's been one of the IPL giants. So it'll be interesting to see. It gets tougher and tougher when you come back every year. MS said it becomes 15% tougher every year for him to come back.
Wow.
The only thing I want to see next year in the CSK is whether at the start of every game there's a young opener who touches his feet before going out to bat.
That's true. It happened. We saw it. It happened with another team's opener. Just a quick word on Ayush Mhatre and how good he was at the time.
Absolutely fantastic. And in fact, I remember because one of the old KKR analysts was a friend with CSK, and they talked about, they said, we have to get these players in the middle.
Yeah.
And suddenly they got Mhatre, Brevis and Urvil together. And it just changed them. And Mhatre, again, under 17 player playing for India under 19. You think that, okay, he's under 17, it's almost the same age. But guys playing that well, that young is, it makes a huge difference. 2 years makes a huge difference. And I thought he was fantastic because the way he attacked. And, there are a lot of batters who've scored runs. And I think Suryawanshi's also scored a lot of runs. You've seen the effortless hitting. But what I love about Mhatre is his compactness. You see him, the way he bats, the way he hits, and you think, this guy can be a 3-format player. He's not just, I genuinely believe he's not just a hitter of the ball. A lot of the top players now we're looking at have very clean strikes, have great, ball speed, have great eyes. But I think this guy has a lot of technique as well.
He had a decent season with Mumbai.
Yeah.
He had a decent season with Mumbai. Some very good scores, some not so good. But it's part of the learning phase. Yeah. I think that two key players were both very young. Noor Ahmed picked 24 wickets.
Yep.
I think Noor was the one who benefited the most from playing with Dhoni. At the start of the season, there were 2 Dhoni stumpings.
Yep.
That were for the ages.
Yeah.
And so Noor benefited a lot from playing with the master of spin.
Yep.
And I thought, Defal Brevis is going to become a CSK great.
Wow,
it might be a big call to make early, but I think he's going to become a CSK great because he can play across batting numbers. I still think you become a very good T20 player when you go out and play first-class cricket because you understand your game very well. Brevis has just come back from a fantastic season playing long-form cricket in South Africa. And I think Ayush Mhatre, Suryawanshi, they'll all become better cricketers when they play long-form cricket and come back. Look at Jaiswal. So I think Brevis is going to be the star. So I think at the end of the season, the parched land gave way, like in those National Geographic things, the rain comes and suddenly the shoots start to come up. I think that's what CSK season was.
I love it. We know what he does in his free time. Yeah. He's not doing stuff that we do, for sure.
Whenever I watch those, I always wait for the happy ending. If the cheetah's chasing the deer has to win.
Talking about happy ending, we'll end the season for CSK by you telling us the best player for them and the moment you'll remember.
For me, it was those two, Noor and Brevis.
Yeah.
Noor, you knew a little bit about him, but Brevis, I don't know if they had too many great moments. I'll be honest. I mentioned a Dhoni stumping early on.
Yeah.
Where it was, what we call it the fastest hands in the East?
Correct.
I said, no, they were just the fastest hands in the world even today. The best wicketkeeper in the tournament was MS Dhoni. Towards the end, a few did slip by, but at least still halfway through, he was the best keeper. So to me, those two Dhoni stumpings.
Okay, for you?
Look, I can go for Suryavanshi touching Dhoni's feet, but I'm going to go for two moments, both in the same match. One was a lady called Aryapriya Bhuya, who just gained about 150 to 170,000 people just of a reaction of Dhoni getting out. Just her reaction and that. And the second was in that match, Nitish Rana was batting and Ashwin was bowling. And then he was batting beautifully and then Ashwin just fires it in. He and Dhoni have that eye contact which they've had for decades, and Nitish Rana has stuffed all ends up. And it just reminded me of classic 2011, 2010,
Nice.
Dhoni and, that almost psychic connection between Dhoni and Ashwin. And that was perhaps, that those sparks of the season where you say and look at back and say that, that was the Ashwin and Dhoni that was.
I like it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Well, that wraps it up for Chennai. No, we won't. No, we won't. I know what you want us to discuss. No, because there's no point. We'll never know. No one will ever know.
It'll be
till
like
you know.
He's on a bike ride from Ranchi out somewhere and the wind is blowing through his hair and beautiful music is playing. The titles are about to come on.
Shoots out of the parched land.
And
I'm glad you brought up the shoots.
and Dhoni decides the time has come or it hasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
Or the time has come to play again. Who knows?
Fair enough.
Actually, the time has come. And then, like Chota print to play again. To play again.
That's it. We will never know. We will never know. That's a story for another day. And we don't decide that day. But we do decide what's coming up next. Number 9, the team that finished number 9, again with 8 points, was Rajasthan. For Rajasthan, it was a season that can be defined as haath aaya par muh na laga, right? It was just many slips between the cup and the lip. There were just, how many games were there, Harsha, that they kind of almost they conspired to lose or the universe conspired for them?
At least four that I can remember.
Yeah.
2 9-ball chases in the final over that they messed up. One run against
9 runs, 9 runs.
One KKR chase that they lost with one run to KKR.
There you go, 1 run there.
Yeah.
2 runs Lucknow, super over Delhi.
Yeah.
The 3 that came back to back were lost in super over. That was Mitch Stark, I think. Lost by 2 runs. That might have been Avesh Khan bowling.
That was Avesh.
And now 9 in 6 is the scary combination for Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah.
What happens against
Those
Bengaluru?
2 numbers are scary.
They have 18 out of 12.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if the troubles have been doubled.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was the period where their campaign died.
Yeah. If they were to choose, I think the one mistake that they perhaps made from the previous season to here, that some of their guns, they just kind of let them go, right? We're talking about...
I think what they did
in terms of their bowling for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did.
They just
revamped their entire bowling attack.
Yeah, they just retained batters and just decided to hope for the best. But how do you do that when you spend so much money, right? And you have so little of your purse left? You can't aggressively really bid or go into a bidding war with anyone. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And therefore, that tells you something. Being lowest on the list of wicket taking, you could make out because they bought in Hasranga and Tikshana. Neither of them gave them a great season. Sandeep Sharma can only do Sandeep Sharma things. He can never be your dominating bowler for you. Jofra Archer was really good up front. He was the only guy who looked like taking wickets. And that's what this story is. This is a bowling attack that gave them nothing. But look at it this way. Finally, their bowling attack misfired totally. But your batters didn't get 9 in 6, 9 in 6 and 18 in 12.
That's a great point. Easy to criticize the bowlers, but the batters didn't do the job as well.
The batters didn't finish. The bowlers didn't compete that much. The bowlers didn't get wickets. The batters did not finish. And I think that's something they will have to look at and say, how can we be stronger mentally and finish games for us?
They lost 8 games chasing.
Correct. They lost 8 games chasing and they had one of the most dynamic opening combinations. Yeah. But once the opening combination went, they didn't get a lot. They got a supporting cast role from Riyan Parag. You got 400. I'm not sure going up to 3 was a very good idea, but you try things out in the course of a tournament.
Yeah.
They got very little from Shimran Hetmeyer. And I think all along they would have been looking up or looking down, Rajasthan, Gujarat, neighbours, at Gujarat and saying, should that man have still been playing with us? So, and if they had gone a little further and seen Trent Bolt's 19 wickets, they said, Bolt and Butler in this side, what a difference it makes. Archer and Bolt, Butler, it makes such a big difference. But they went with their batting. I thought they had a very strange retention. So they had to retain Samson, they had to retain Jaiswal, they had to retain Parag. And then they went Jurel and Hetmeyer.
Yeah.
So that to me was the tricky one.
Yeah, it was, because that's the thing, right? I mean, as you are aware here, we don't grudge anyone getting those big paychecks. It's great. But because of the limited purse that teams have, that means if you spend so much money, you don't have anything left when you go on a big auction. You've only got 5 out of your potential squad of 23, 24.
Yeah, I mean...
And then what are you going to do?
Yeah, you retain 5 batters essentially.
Yeah.
They let go all the bowlers. Last year they were the best bowling side, right?
They were the best bowling
Among
side.
the best.
Yeah.
Because you had Bolt from one side, you had Prasidh Krishna,
Chahal.
you had Chahal, you had
Ashwin had a decent season.
Yeah.
And Ashwin had a decent season because the big
didn't
ground.
Avesh play last year for them?
I think Prasidh
Sharma was there. I think
Sandeep got retained at base price.
I think Prasidh was there definitely.
Avesh had been traded.
Yeah, but whatever, they had a good bowling side.
Yeah, they had a good... I mean, just look
And
at
they let
Bolt
go
and
all the
Chahal.
bowlers. Yeah, they let go all the bowlers, picked all the batters, thinking the batters were going to do it for them. And that is why, in spite of that graphic that shows they took the minimum wickets, they punted heavily on the batting. And that didn't deliver enough. It didn't help that Samson wasn't available for half the season. But that finish that they wanted from Parag and Hetmeyer, those finishes they didn't.
It did, you're right. You didn't get the finishes from him. I think from Riyan Parag, you got the runs. I was disappointed in a few chases with his shot selection and getting out at the time that he did.
I completely agree with him. I think Parag batted very well at 4. Okay. You had moved him from 6 to 4 and you thought that's a good place, and it was. It really worked for them. They got a 500-run season. Okay. But then 4 to 3, I really think when Nitish Rana came in and played a few knocks at 3, he really made a difference. You know, Nitish Rana batted at 3. He got 80-odd runs. He breaks up the left-right also. No, actually, Yashasvi is also there, but he gives you another left combination up front. I thought Nitish Rana was very good in a couple of matches. And then somehow they didn't stop picking him, or he got injured and then he dropped off their plans. But him, and now you have those players because you've got one more gun now, way above Suryavanshi. So if you can put this right, maybe release one of your top batters the auction, make yourself some room. Because see, you've now got a logjam at the top. So you've got Jaiswal, Samson, Suryavanshi, Parag, Nitish Rana potentially for 3 positions really. Or maybe 4.
I, of course, want to talk about the story of the tournament for Rajasthan. And I want to quickly talk about him because otherwise it'll be past his bedtime. So let's talk about him real quick. About Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Jeez. You know, when they picked him, and I remember we were all sitting here with the auction and there was, you know, all the puns about he's become a crorepati many years before he can become a pati. You know, many things that we were talking about. We genuinely didn't think that he would play this season, that this would be one of those grooming seasons. You see him, you know, he has a look around. Geez, Samson goes. He gets there, hits the ground running as if he's been playing this level.
First ball for 6?
Yeah.
First ball for 6.
They said, what are you guys calling me a kid for? Let me show you what I can do. That is just phenomenal. Look at that strike rate, over 250 runs.
In the nets, he's playing Jofra Archer.
Yeah.
That education, you can travel around the world and pay through your nose, you won't get. And here's someone paying you in crores to get that education.
Yeah.
I thought his best innings actually came after the 100, 1 or 2 innings after the 100, when he reined himself in and got a score. Which suggested to me, much like it did with Priyancharya the other day, that these young players, I mean, Priyancharya is older, but everybody's older.
True.
That they're learning very quickly.
Yeah.
So to me, he was definitely the find of the season, because when he came into bat, he was, all the negative things were being said about him. Oh, he must be 18, he must be 19. Actually, what is your age? It doesn't matter what your age is. You're playing the IPL. True. You're not playing an under-12 tournament. You're playing the IPL. It doesn't matter if you're 14 or 16 or 25 or 32.
Fair.
So, and I looked at him, and under the helmet, I saw chubby cheeks.
Yeah.
And I said, koi baat nahi, but the shots he was playing.
Yeah, there's a little bit of baby fat that
baby
tells
fat,
you that he's not 18, right? He's much younger. He's younger than that. But just, Harsha's so right, just the way he played. The fact is, forget his age. Forget the fact that he's a teenager, whatever his age may be, right? He's definitely a teenager. Just the fact that with that kind of experience, which is so limited, you come out batting with Yashasvi Jaiswal, you got MS Dhoni standing stumps behind you, you got some of the best in the world.
Go and touch his feet before. And then you walk out and you whack it out of the ground.
It's just,
I mean, good bowlers, Joy. He whacked good bowlers out of the ground.
Just the audacity of it was, I'm a fan of the audacity.
No, absolutely. For me, we forget everything else. That was the moment of the IPL. Not even his century. The day he walked in and hit his first ball for a 6. I mean, it just brought the house down. And every young player, remember, one after the other, they started doing. Priyancharya is doing it, he's doing it. Then Ayush Matre comes and does it. Then Urvit Patel comes and hits it. You know, all guys who are getting their chance are going out there and just smashing it. And that is so good for the league. You know, this is the league. This year, I believe, 2025 was the year of debutants.
Yep, absolutely.
And I believe it's almost the best debutant crop we've had in the last 7, 8, 10 years.
So I tell you, we have got our moment and our player. So I don't think I need to ask anyone. I think it's very clear. It's Vaibhav Suryavanshi and the first ball 638 as soon as he came to
I
play.
had a very good young kid as well there. But again, he's top 2 players. It's a player called Luandre Pretorius.
Yeah.
And I asked DK about him because they played together at PAL. And he said he's very handsy player. Every single game virtually was hitting runs. So
Yeah.
maybe he'll be the one next year. We'll wait and see.
Okay, let's go to number 8 now. The defending champions. I just want to tell Harsha that Joy has recused himself from this discussion on account of his just rising rage. So I thought that, I mean, anyway, it's raining, it's leaking, feels like his tears, they'll just all merge in that. So let's just keep him out of this. What do you think?
Please.
Let's see how long. Let's see how long.
Time
30 seconds,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
There, he started already.
Sir, your team's misery, sir. In 100 words or less.
Where do I start?
Where do you start? You're right.
Okay, firstly, opening stands. They had 7 out of 14 opening stands right at the start between Salt and Narayan.
Yeah.
This one, they didn't get a single 50-run opening stand.
Yeah.
So, but that's the point, that Narayan has done this once in 10 years. He'll do it again. That he's like Halley's Comet.
Yeah.
He'll again give you a fantastic batting year once every 10 years. But it's not that he's going to give it year after year. So I think, look, if you want to look at it, really KKR's season, I'll tell you where it finishes. Where KKR's season goes pear-shaped is in the auction. Okay, 23 crores, RCB still hold the rights to Venkatesh Iyer. This is straight up in the auction. 23 crores, they still hold the right. KKR go for that next bid. Okay. Now, what happens after that? KKR takes that next bid. Who all does RCB pick up after that? They pick up Jitesh Sharma. They pick up Hazelwood. Okay. And they pick up, most importantly, Phil Salt. All with, they had enough money to go after these 3 because they did not invest that 23 odd, which KKR invested in Venkatesh Iyer. Yeah. So in that one auction situation, KKR potentially gave away 3 match-winning players, which RCB went on to buy later. Because had they bought that 23 crores, they wouldn't have been in contention to bid for any of those.
Wow. See, again, and I really want to add this here. Not grudging any player their paycheck, but we're talking about it strategically because remember, the money gets deducted from a purse which is fixed. So which means that since they can't bid for these players and because RCB didn't spend that money, if RCB had spent that money on one particular player, they would not have had perhaps the money to bid for 3 who changed the season for them.
Exactly.
One last evening, one kind of through the season. Phil Salt, just the kind of opener that he is. He's that's a really good point, a micro point about the auction. I just think that, I mean, we still don't know, and I guess we won't, about what went down with Shreyas Iyer, but for a trophy-winning captain not to get retained, whether it's a breakdown in negotiation or communication, neither should have happened.
And then they started the season searching for a captain. And they got their captain from a player who went unsold and came back the third time.
Yeah.
And the player who scored most runs for them.
Yeah.
And who scored them at a very decent strike rate.
True.
But my problem with KKR now is they're exactly where they were at the start of the season.
Yeah.
They're still looking for a wicketkeeper. They're still looking for a captain. I mean, Rahane might have a great Mushtaq Ali again and come back. They're still hoping that Sunil Narine and Andre Russell will be at the core.
Still looking for an opening combination?
They're still looking for a position for one of the best young players in the tournament who got lost, Ankush Raghuvanshi. A lot of their players, on paper, look at the side, still on paper. Vaibhav Arora had a bad season, Harshit Rana has a bad season, Ramandeep has a bad season, Rinku Singh has a bad season. You can't budget for all that.
Yeah.
So they look at this team and say, were we really that bad, this team? And you'll find a lot of players who are playing out of position. Where did Venkatesh Iyer score all his runs? Where did Ankush Raghuvanshi show all his promise? And it comes down to a wicketkeeper at the top and what do you do with Sunil Narine?
Yep.
So I think they start the next season exactly where they started this season.
Yeah, we spoke about.
Yeah, no green shoots here. Nothing new has happened which they have got hope for and saying, okay, this is emerged in the middle of the season. And see, what's your biggest problem? I have no problems at all with Ajinkya Rahane. I believe he's a great batter. He's a fantastic guy. He did his best. But the moment you play Ajinkya at 3, you're batting all the other guys out of position in your team. All the guys who delivered for you last year, you're batting them out of position. Look at the number of balls Rinku Singh is facing. 11 balls. Okay, Rinku Singh is one of the most expensive. He's your most expensive retention. He's averaging 11 balls. Venkatesh Iyer is averaging 10 balls and Venkatesh Iyer doesn't know, pads up and doesn't know where he's going to come into bat. Then suddenly you've come in and you put in Manish Pandey. Okay, and Manish Pandey is again an IPL great. He's one of the 3-4 guys who's been there for 15
First 100 ever in the history of the tournament.
First Indian 100 ever.
Yeah, first Indian 100, sorry.
Yeah. But you look at it that way and you ask yourself and you say, I'm not playing Venkatesh Iyer, who's supposed to be my future. I'm not giving Rinku Singh a chance to bat at the right place. And I'm giving Manish Pandey opportunities. Who is the future of this franchise?
Yep.
So you're batting Ramandeep at 9. So all I'm saying is, if you have clarity of thought, and if you think about what KKR has, they are fantastic pieces. I firstly don't believe they're arranged in the right order. B, none of the pieces knew where they were going to walk out. Therefore, there's uncertainty in all their heads. Okay? And that's the one thing, say somebody like a GT did very well or a Punjab did very well. Okay, this is our team. We know who's going to come out. We know who's responsible. And therefore, it's not so much the talent in the team, which I feel is still a very talented team. It's a top 4 team in terms of talent. It just, the way it was handled, the way the batting order was shuffled, and the way the captain was chosen as an afterthought, none of this did any justice to the team. Yeah,
most importantly, we're just going to stop the show for 2 seconds now. So deep breaths.
Can I do a little BTS behind the scenes?
Yeah. I just want Joy to keep doing that. And
you know, one of our friends just off camera was so concerned at Joy's show of emotion that he charged in while there was a single on Joy and changed his water and went back.
It's hot water.
Sir, aap pani pee lijiye thoda aur.
Yeah. Just.
Are you sure it's not? I would have stronger stuff.
What do you think? Do you think the KKR fans are trying to poison you?
I just think I need stronger stuff than water when I'm talking about this.
But you know, if you look back, suppose I'm in KKR. Let's put ourselves in each franchise. I'm in KKR and I'm just saying, Joy Bhattacharya just told me something very interesting. All the parts are there.
Yep. They're just not aligned properly.
Move the parts around and get one good fast bowler.
Sir, the thing is that all the parts are there, but if you put a steering wheel where the wheel is supposed to be, it's not going to work, right? And that's what we're talking about, that it was just misaligned. That's why we spoke so much about this batting.
Yes.
I mean, it was just too many batters, right?
Can I tell you one more thing? Simple thing I'll tell you, okay? Your season's done, okay? Now, do you need to prove whether Manish Pandey is a good enough batter for next year? No. Who do you want to give a chance to? There is this kid who's been tearing it up in their practice matches, who's really good in practice, called Loveneet Sisodia.
Yep.
Okay? And Loveneet Sisodia, this is the ideal opportunity. Play him. Give him an opportunity. Let's see what you've got. Every other team has done it. We've seen Urvil Patel. We've seen Suryavanshi. We've seen Ayush Matre. Why haven't you tried your new guy?
Yep. There's just way too many questions, Joy. Deep breaths.
Did you say in 100 words?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he heard the word 1,000 after 100 also. I'm just really happy that the words were family friendly. That's all. That's the thing that I was scared about. But that's not happened.
Yeah. Our director was sitting there with the blip, this thing.
He was ready. Can I tell you another thing that happened last year? Which Shreyas Iyer did a lot. Shreyas Iyer dropped down himself to 4 a lot to let Venki Iyer bat at 3.
Yeah.
So they did a
He did that this year
Iyer
too.
swap.
He did that this year too.
He did that this year
dropped
with
to
Josh
4
Inglis.
to let Josh Inglis up. What I think their captain needed to have done was not to drop down but to go up.
Yeah.
Their best power play batter this year was Ajinkya Rahane.
Yeah.
But because he was batting 3, because you had the success with Sunil Narayan, he really became a 10, 12, 15 ball batter because his strike rate drops dramatically when the spinners come along and the field goes out.
Yeah.
But playing shots against genuine pace with the field up, he was their best power play batter.
Yeah.
So if anything, he should have gone up, I thought.
Totally agree.
But yeah.
Venki Iyer and Rahane to open. I said that halfway in the season. Venki Iyer and Rahane to open. Their problem was that there was no other wicket keeper. They could have tried Loveneet Sisodia. Could have tried it later. They just needed to just push everybody up because by the time people came, they were just playing too few
Ramandeep batting
deliveries.
at 9.
And
Why?
Yeah, and the mountain was just too high. All right, mountain was just too high. Best moment for Knight Riders in this tournament?
I think the best moment was the one match that they got their batting order right. I mean, they beat SRH in the first match that they played against that 200 to 120. Weber Varora got wickets.
Yeah.
It's the one match that he got wickets. Ankrish got 50, okay, batting at 3. Venkatesh Iyer got 60 odd runs. A great start given by Rahane. The one time that they had a batting order that clicked, all of them came in the right order. It really worked for them. And then in the next match, they changed it immediately.
Okay, and player of the season for them?
Still Sunil Narayan.
Still Sunil Narayan.
Still Sunil
Sunil
Narayan.
Narayan,
I mean, every
Varun
year you
Chakravarti.
just dust off that
Sunil
trophy.
Narayan and Varun Chakravarti for me were the big bright spots
Yeah.
in that tournament for them. So
Spin twins. Love them. All right. Let's just move a little west from Kolkata and reach Lucknow. Because Lucknow, well, the problem with Lucknow was that the busiest person in their team was the team doctor. Right? Because they put together a good bowling squad. But, well, that's the thing with injury, right? What are you going to do with injury? Let's show you what all happened. Mr. Bhattacharya, things for them were, that's the problem, right?
Yeah,
that it looked so good before it began. And then one by one, all the pieces just kind of keep falling apart.
And we are talking about 4 bowlers who have all, I mean, I think Mohsin is also...
4 bowlers would be starting 11.
Yeah, and 3 of them play for India. I think Mohsin's also played. No, he's been picked for 14, but he's not played. But all these are potential. And look, what have they done? Before the start of the tournament, who have they got in as mentors? Zahir Khan. Okay, Zach working with good Indian fast bowlers. Nobody knows conditions and better.
Yep.
So they're looking and saying, dude, let's get Indian fast bowlers. Zach's going to work with them. We make this attack. We spend our money on international bats. These guys at the end of the tournament, they will have, 14 matches of Zach. They will kill it.
Yeah.
And it's just ravaged by injury. So that entire plan, and that's what the best laid plans of Mice, Men and LSG have just gone to it because...
Wow, what a high literature reference, sir.
Sir, before Gurgaon, in his earlier life,
He's in Kolkata.
he was this revolutionary poet from Jadavpur.
Yeah, he's hashtag Kevanachin. Like,
This is hashtag.
hashtag how are you?
So these
Oh, we've lost him again. He's back. He's back.
spent a lot of money on Indian fast bowlers who turn up lame, sadly.
Yeah.
And as a result, their economy for their fast bowling was huge. I mean, they were conceding runs like they were like a boxer would say, "I'll take 10 punches and I'll hit 12."
Yeah, true.
So they landed a lot of punches with the bat, but they also took a lot of punches when they were bowling.
Yeah, they
needed to score too many to be
They
able
actually
to
had the worst economy out of all the bowling units, didn't they?
Absolutely. Their fast bowlers went for the most runs, yeah.
Yeah, so 10.2 or something was. So they
also
kept
cannot
leaking.
budget for Ravi Bishnoi suddenly having a season like that.
Yeah.
But for them, the big plus was Rati coming back.
Correct.
Coming in rather, and I think he had a fantastic season. Mitch Marsh played 12, 13 games. So if you see their batting, Marsh, Markram, Puran, can you budget for Pant making 150 runs in 12 innings?
Yeah.
You can't budget for that. Again, you might say, was Pant batting in the wrong position? All that's all right. But you had that top 4. Miller had a bad season, Pant had a bad season, and the fast bowlers all vanished to the extent that after a while they were just had placards out. Fast bowler, koi hai.
Koi aa jao. But we'll get to the fast. We spoke about the fast bowlers. Let's talk about the spinners because it was a tale of 2 spinners. There was a Ravi Bishnoi who was their 3rd draft pick, if you remember, when this team was formulated a few years back, and then retained. And then, don't know what happens to him this season. And then Digvesh Rathi, another wrist spinner, comes in and pretty much becomes their numero uno.
There's only one stat I saw somewhere about Ravi Bishnoi was that this year he bowled the maximum number of leg breaks. His stock ball was always the one leaving, but this year he bowled a lot of leg breaks. I don't understand that aspect of his cricket enough to know whether that played around with his rhythm, but he became very predictable.
Yeah.
And because he became predictable, he was going for runs. It led to this kid, Digvesh Rathi. I thought he was one of the biggest young breakout players of this tournament. As long as he can just... he'll be absolutely fine. But maybe that's part of his personality. No,
don't.
No, I'll tell you what. He got very badly done by with the second fine.
Yeah.
The first fine, no. I mean, once you take a wicket, you don't have to go and tell the batter, see what I did to you. Send-offs are cowardly. So forget send-offs. He got it wrong there.
But sir, it was
the
best
second
friend.
one.
It was his best friend.
I know, but
So
it doesn't... Yeah.
They played together for the South Delhi
Correct.
Superstars under Ayush Budoni.
Did you say superstars?
Superstars.
Oh, sorry. I thought it's superstars, which also in South Delhi can happen.
Yeah, which happens after rave parties, but this is before.
Did you just say rave parties?
Yeah, stupors.
Rave.
Where else will you get a stupor? Superstars are after rave parties. Superstars are after Delhi Premier League cricket matches. Under Ayush Budoni's captaincy and Gabbar, Shikhar Dhawan's mentorship, these two boys played together. The story of Priyan Charya and Digvesh Rathi.
Yeah.
And now, in very polite Delhi terms, one was telling the other, thank you for batting. It was lovely seeing you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And he said, it was wonderful meeting you as well.
Yeah.
And they called a fine. I mean, I just do not understand. Perhaps I'm hearing a different language than what the match referee heard.
Send-offs are not generally looked upon. I thought the second fine that he got was so harsh. He was just signing off, that's all. He wasn't in anyone's face, he wasn't abusing, he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And suddenly he gets another demerit point.
Uncool.
And it's like saying, Bato.
Yeah.
No, you can't. I mean, But forget what, I hope he's not remembered for what he did after he got a wicket, but for the wickets that he got. By the end of the season, he's bowling at the death, he's bowling in the middle-low, he's bowling in the power play. He was almost becoming their spin bowling Bumrah.
Yeah.
Every time you want anything, you're looking to who? Digvesh Rathi. But the moment of the tournament for me for LSG came when Rathi doesn't play a game.
Yeah, Akash Singh.
Akash Singh gets a wicket and does that pointing to Rathi.
Yeah.
Which told me that they were actually backing him and they're having a lot of fun. So my suggestion to match referees next year is let the kid be.
I really think,
It's a bit much.
A send-off, yes, fine, we don't want to argue that. A match referee says, yeah, we want to fine you for it. Great, you set a precedent. But for just a celebration?
Yeah, and a Delhi person is offering you a check, take it. It doesn't happen that often.
That's true. And it's probably going to come with a rubber ball because it's going to bounce all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
And the biggest issue was he once fell and hurt himself and we were worried he was going to hurt his writing hand.
True.
I like
the checks
it.
were all here.
Yeah, I just want to say, Digvesh, do what you're doing. If your team doesn't play your fines, I'm going to start a crowdfunding effort for you to make sure that they are paid. Because, you need those kind of characters. You need a little tadka on the game, and he really did that.
But I like now, if you see LSG's end of their season, and you think they've got a few things now they get. In 1 year, their bowlers will recover.
Yeah.
They will have. It's not going to be a year where all four bowlers go on. Because you've lost Akashdeep, you've lost Makeyank.
Yeah.
Mohsin, I don't know, because now it's the second or third year that he's been injured and he's had one great season.
Yeah.
But the other three, you get back, you move Pant to a position which is slightly better in the order. And I think you've got something there. You've got Digvesh Rathi. I actually like the look of Prince Yadav as well.
Yes, I like Prince Yadav very much. I think they might let go David Miller and look for a world-class fast bowler there.
Yeah.
Avesh Khan will be a good bowler. I think they'll have to slowly look at Mayank Yadav and say, is he really going to be a 14-game player?
Because they paid a lot of money for him.
They'll have to give up on Mohsin, sadly, I fear. But if he can't look after himself, there's a problem there anyway. And work with Bishnoi in the off-season. And I think they'll start getting that bowling together. I think where their season went pear-shaped really was when Puran went through that patch in between.
Yeah.
Much like Kuldeep with Delhi, the leading indicator was Puran suddenly having that dip. Because Marsh, Makram, Puran, they were like Hyderabad's top three.
Yeah.
What we thought Hyderabad's top three would be.
Yeah.
So that is where the Lucknow season turned.
And now the curious case of the captain in the night time. Rishabh
He didn't bark.
Huh?
He didn't bark. That is what was...
That's true. We like a little chirping from him. That wasn't happening. There you go. 151 runs in the 12 games. And then the one game, of course, last night that we saw, he got that fantastic century that he got. But that season was not his. What was the problem? Playing out of position? We discussed this a lot last night as well.
I think
we discussed it through the season.
Yeah, I think playing out of position is just one thing. I think the second thing was... And really, genuinely, I feel, Harsha has made such an important point that Pant, there are captains where you decide how much you want to put on the captain's head in terms of what you want to do. And I feel Pant is a free spirit, he's a carefree soul. So maybe you take a lot of the off-field administrative burden, tension off his head. Don't worry about it. You play your game, you run it on the field. And if you have to supplement what we are saying on the field, we'll let you know. I feel the way you handle Pant will be very different from the way you say you handle a Dhoni as captain or a Gambhir as captain.
Of course.
Where he's running everything. Okay. Here you tell him, okay, you want to be a part of this. What is it that you want to do off field? What is it that you want to do? Otherwise, the rest of it we'll take away from you.
Yeah.
Because when you lose your spirit, when you are burdened, you're not the player we think you are. Or you're the player you can be.
Yeah. What do you think? Open? Next season?
It's a long time to go. Maybe he can. 4 is all right for him, actually.
Yeah.
If he's in form, 4 is all right for him. But yeah, maybe open.
Or 3 even?
But Puran is the world's best at that number, so it's
Yeah.
tricky to move. So he
That's
did
why I
go
didn't
at
say 3.
Yeah. So
Yeah, well, you definitely want to see a lot more from him. And this season, feel a little deprived. Of course, we got runs from him last night. That century was brilliant. Ended up on the losing side, but they were eliminated anyway. Well, it was the top 3, a story of a successful top 3 for Lucknow, and a story of a top 3 that we thought would be the most successful top 3 in Hyderabad. Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan. When we saw that in the auction, we're not even bowlers and we got scared.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in the first match, they come and hit 286. And if the talk is all about 300s.
Yeah.
And then it just goes away.
Yeah. What happened? What do you think happened?
देखो अगर आपको बिरयानी बनानी है ना
Oh, here he is.
अगर आपको बिरयानी बनाए तो रोज अच्छी बनाना ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते कि जो है मैं जुमे को अच्छी बनाया मैं यहाँ इतवार को ऐसी खा लियो कुछ तो भी बोल के जुमे की बिरयानी भी अच्छी होना इतवार की बिरयानी भी अच्छी होना आप नहीं बोल सकते इतवार को यहाँ मेरे को वो अपनी क्या बड़ी इलायची नहीं मिली या मेरे को जो है अपना दालचीनी खराब मिली या चावल उतना अच्छा नहीं था या गोश्त ऐसी आ गया मैं डाल लिया अंदर बिरयानी रोज अच्छी बनानी पड़ती एक मैच में 286 बनाए उसके बाद गायब
Love it. I'm going to call you Bhaiya Charminar from today.
Bhaiya Charminar.
हाँ वैसी जो है ना
बहुत अच्छा था.
The moment the pitches changed, and they admitted that, in all fairness to Hyderabad, they admitted that maybe we should have been smarter when the pitches changed. I think they created that team to win 5 or 6 matches at home.
Yep.
And that is why I keep coming back again and again and again. Teams spend a lot of money, a lot of time in structuring their resources to play a certain way.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the basis for that changes, then the whole auction strategy is gone.
True.
They've created a team for a 240, 250 game. And suddenly you're not getting the pitches for a 240, 250 game. That is why I keep talking about home advantage again and again. It would have helped Calcutta, it would have helped Hyderabad, it would have helped Chennai. But when the conditions changed, that's part of the smartness of playing too.
Yeah, here's
And
the
then
thing.
suddenly Ishan Kishan falls off the cliff.
Yeah.
Nitish Reddy was probably too high suddenly batting up at number 4.
Travis Head.
Finally, they got Klaasen to come back up and he scored 100.
Yeah.
It's this debate that Ian Bishop and me have been having right through. Why do you label straight jacket players in certain positions? Russell will only bat at that number. Tim David will only bat at that number. Klaasen will only bat at that number. Klaasen comes up with 100.
Yeah.
Russell goes up to 4, he might hit 100. So I think towards the end, they got it right again with Nitish Reddy going down. Aniket Verma was an excellent find for them. But they remain a team that is unmatched in certain conditions. Coming up next year, they've got to figure out how to play a more rounded.
You're right, just plan B. Like, here's the thing, and we discussed this again on the show before. Pat Cummins said something very interesting after their batting fell apart in a few games, where Pat Cummins came out in the press conference and said that, no, this is how we're going to play, and I'm still telling the players to go aggressively. And then another 2-3 batting failures, and if you remember, he came and said something different. We're saying, all right, hang on a second. I think maybe we should just have a plan B. We can't just blow every opposition out of the park with a 250 score. Sometimes 190 is good enough. And we have to, I'm paraphrasing here, but we have to basically have a plan B and bat differently, like Harsha's saying right now.
Yeah.
So I think they realized that just a little too late.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were honest about it. But by that time, they'd already blown enough matches. And I don't think after that it was getting difficult for them. But see, my other issue with them is that, you back your top players, you do. But if you're batting aggressive, one of the things about batting aggressive is you bat aggressive also if you know you have a long batting order to follow.
Yeah.
So if you're going to collapse. Throughout, for the first 5 or 6 matches, they had Pat Cummins coming in at 7.
Yeah.
Okay? Pat Cummins at 7, I think, is a stretch. At 8, still a stretch. I think 9 is perfect for Pat. And if there are, if the wicket's in hand and there are a few runs to hit, he can come in earlier. But it's too early for him. So I felt that they were packing their bowlers because they felt that their 6 batters could do it for them. Okay?
Yeah.
And 6 batters didn't, because Nitish Reddy didn't have a great season. As we were talking about, we had this one fall off the cliff totally. Ishan Kishan fall off the cliff totally.
Shami didn't arrive.
And Shami didn't come.
That was the biggest thing. Shami didn't arrive.
Yeah.
Therefore, foreign players was also in.
Yeah, he had 45, 48 wickets for Gujarat Titans in 2 years.
Yeah.
And Shami didn't arrive.
It was interesting because I think it also, sometimes you succumb to your own hype. I think the hype became that, oh my God, this batting lineup now is Ishan Kishan in it. They're just going to get, 300 in every game. They're going to blow the opposition out. And as we said, they got the clarity late in the season because they won games towards the end. So they've climbed up in their position. So but that clarity, maybe it came in the Maldives.
No, it did.
I think the Maldives water is clearer than Hussain Sagar Lake.
Absolutely.
So that's why.
Wait, before you go to the Maldives, you're 3 out of 9.
Yeah.
After you return from the Maldives, you're 3 out of 4.
Wow.
Okay, and you played volleyball in the Maldives trip, which is always good because as I said, I run a volleyball league. Playing volleyball is always good.
I like it. A not so subtle plug. Love it. Love it. So basically, I want to tell everyone that this league review show is over now because if things are wrong with your team, go to Maldives and play volleyball. That's it. Is this the job that consultants do? When I hear about consulting, is this what consultants?
You go in and you talk like this, McKinsey they will also sign like Rathi a check for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go there and tell them.
Not a bouncy one, right?
No, not a bouncy one. Not a Dale Steyn kind of check coming at your head.
Okay, I'm gonna do it then. I'm gonna go. These are the same guys who make Coca-Cola? They're not.
No.
That water, that's Kinley.
Yeah, Kinley.
It's not the same.
McKinsey, these are the guys who advise everybody to make water, make soap, make cars, make planes.
Water, make soap, have a bath. Excellent. So Mr. Bhogle is like, what are they talking about? We're talking about sunrise industries.
Yeah, how will he understand? He's only from IIM Ahmedabad.
I know, but these are not things.
How will you know?
I tell you, your education was incomplete in IIM Ahmedabad till you met us.
Yeah, let us.
This is your real MBA. This is your doctorate.
Correct.
Dr. Charminar.
Yeah, he's from the Khan Market gang, na?
Khan Market?
Yeah, because Louis Kahn designed the buildings. So he's from the Khan Market.
I like it. My name is Khan and I'm an MBA.
Yes.
I like it. You know what? He's not sitting here and getting sledged. I'll tell you what Mr. Bhogle is doing. He's recharging. He's going to come at us. I guarantee you that.
The two of you should have a show of your own. I'll be sitting in the front row and watching.
Karte hain, sir. Yeah, we'll do it.
You join McKinsey, I'll join the other one. We'll both sign checks.
Let's do that. Excellent.
BN, BCG, ENY, KPMG, all of those.
Yeah, we'll do that. क्या बातें करते हैं हम लोग इतनी बड़ी बातें हैं. My parents always think I don't have a real job. I've never had one. Now they'll be so proud. Yeah, they'll be so proud. All right, let's just round up that conversation with your top moment from Hyderabad and your top player this season.
For me, Hyderabad, I thought Abhishek Sharma, was still the player of the season for me. And I think, for me, the best innings was that 59 he got in a chase because he scored a century also before that, but that 59, the way it broke the back of a chase and allowed everyone else then to play within their limits and get through, tells you the power that guy kid has.
Yeah.
And I still feel, I just don't know also why his bowling has totally disappeared. They don't seem to use him at all as a bowler. And is that something, does he bowl in the nets?
No, I'll tell you the reason is because...
IS. Any combination of IS is dangerous.
Okay, what is IS?
IS by itself is impact sub, which is dangerous. Yeah. You add 2 ISs, that's even more dangerous. So we've lost Abhishek Sharma, the bowler, to impact sub.
Yeah, fair enough. But also, you notice that Hyderabad just doesn't value spin.
No spin at all. Yeah. So I thought this was the season.
It.
One of the reasons I had Hyderabad up there was I thought you played Travis Head, you have Klaasen, you have Cummins. You've got 3 good overseas players. This is the season for Adam Zampa.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Adam Zampa's not there. I actually came and asked which franchise Rahul Chahar played for.
Exactly.
There's no Rahul Chahar. Suddenly they come up with Zishan, who I think did a job. He's a decent bowler, Zishan. But right towards the end of the season, I saw somebody that suggests those numbers will not happen ever again.
Okay.
Because I've seen a young player.
Your namesake?
A young player who I think is going to be a fantastic young cricketer. His name is Harsh Dubey.
Yeah.
And again, somebody who's come from where? Playing long form cricket.
Wow.
He takes 69 wickets in the Ranji Trophy.
It was Vidarbha.
For Vidarbha. He's hit 8 half centuries in 10 matches, I think. But it's just the way that he bowled.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was talking to Murli Karthik and he was saying, wow. Murli Karthik talks about many things, but he talks especially... he loves talking left arm spin. So I think for next year, they might have found a solution to those numbers there.
Yeah. I hope so, for their sake, because it's a fun team. And just in case you start saying that I'm the one who's jinxing them, I promise you next year I will not pick them as playoff contenders so that they can qualify. Right?
That's so generous of you.
Taking one for the team.
Yeah.
All right. There was a team that ran away to a blazing start and you thought they'd write their name in the qualifiers list already. And then they just... It was like they were going on the ring road at night. It was great. No traffic. You're just going. And then suddenly you hit Chandni Chowk like at 9 in the morning. Right? Yeah. And just traffic comes to a dead stop. And that's what happened to Delhi. Look at it. It's just green. And after that... I think they won that last game, but before that they hadn't won a game in like 5 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That game that they won in Lucknow against 23rd
Lucknow. April was the last match they'd won before that.
Yeah, so it was almost a month when they won the game. It's like they forgot. What happened?
Lots of factors. I felt, firstly, I think their opening combination they never solved throughout the tournament. So they've had success with makeshift openers, KL Rahul doing it for them.
So many openers.
Yeah, too many openers, and
not
they just
bottles.
didn't come.
Yeah.
Yeah, not enough.
That in Delhi is never a problem, but yeah.
Yeah, that's just look at that. 3 with them.
So there's Duplessis. They start with, okay, so here's the things that go wrong with him. They start with Duplessis and Fraser McGurk berserk. He does not go berserk, so he's gone. Then it's Faf and KL. KL gets moved up. And then Faf gets injured. Then there's Porel and Karun Nair. Then Faf comes back, there's Porel and Duplessis, Karun gets moved down. Then they try Fraser. There's Fraser McGurk, there's Duplessis, Nair, Fraser McGurk. It was just, it was chaos. Wasn't it just absolute chaos?
And I think this is the one thing that, let's just juxtapose those 2 points together. Teams, really successful opening combinations this year.
Yeah.
And then the teams that are unsuccessful, just look at 2 of them. I mean, look at Delhi and look at KKR and see the number of times they've changed their batting order.
Yeah.
In the most important batting positions. Let's get it straight. The most important batting positions in this league are 1, 2 and 3. And if you've not got 1 and 2 correct, you're almost always in trouble. And I think Delhi never discovered their best top 3.
They had to do a sort of mid-course correction and get KL Rahul back up because they were budgeting on KL Rahul 4, Akshar Patel 5, they had Ashutosh 6. They were expecting a lot of power down there, but they were just not getting the starts. I thought one of the innings of the tournament was played by Karun Nair in a losing cause against Mumbai. And even that was played by accident. If they hadn't lost a wicket for 3 or 4 overs, he was not supposed to come in. But absolutely, if you're not getting starts, and Abhishek Porel is a good young player. At the moment, Abhishek Porel is not a Yashasvi Jaiswal or an Abhishek Sharma. Yeah. But Abhishek Porel batting number 3 throughout for your franchise at that key number, I think told a story in itself. Then Akshar getting injured. But the leading indicator there was, I mean, they won those 4 matches, was Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah.
He was bowling beautifully. They generally had a pretty decent bowling side. And then suddenly Kuldeep lost his effectiveness. And I think they lost the little bite to their bowling.
Yeah.
And that is where suddenly things turned around for Delhi. And they were actually quite lucky to finish where they were. Because they got saved with a no result.
Yeah.
They won a super over.
Yeah.
You know, getting really close. So they've actually just, little bite here, and they've actually finished where they have because of the start that they had. So they look back at the season and say, can we say we'll finish in the top 3 or 4 next year? Do we have enough? No, they don't. They're now got to go shopping for batting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, once you have Stark goes out as well, then their bowling has nothing because Kuldeep lost the bite. You don't have Stark. Then you're now really struggling because, you have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, they paid a lot of money for Mukesh, for Natarajan.
Also, Harry Brook, he goes out, they don't even replace him.
Yes.
And that's a big one because it's not as if your batting is that strong that you have a player like Harry Brook going out and you're not taking a replacement for him. I mean, it tells you something that they were confident that they had enough batters.
Yeah.
They also wanted to build a team around Indian talent. They brought a lot of Indian coaches. They punted on a lot of Indian talent. But eventually, you need the big overseas superstars to add value to that.
Yeah.
So if you see the overseas stars there's Fraser McGurk didn't fire. Donovan Ferreira just comes in and plays
Barely
the
got
odd
a
game
chance,
here and
exactly.
there. Mitch Stark's only going to bowl 4 overs. However well he plays, his role in the team is 4 overs.
I think Tristan Stubbs perhaps was the only one
Correct.
who lived up to that.
Now Tristan Stubbs, they've got to build that team. I see Tristan Stubbs batting at number 4 in future. He's far too good to be straight-jacketed as a finisher.
Yeah.
But they still need... Because I don't see... Faf is already 40.
Yeah.
I don't see Abhishek Porel as being this wow big player for them unless he's got the best 10 months of his life. So they need to sort that top 3.
I think there's a lot of shopping to do because I completely agree with Harsha that with this talent, it's not a matter, no matter how many ways you shuffle this, it's going to be difficult. Secondly, I'd be really interested in knowing how the management, because players are fixed for 3 years. Okay, so I have a suggestion to the the way the Delhi Capitals is run, which is that you have big auctions every 3 years. So, we know that Delhi is jointly owned by 2 entities. You have JSW owning and you have GMR owning. I'm saying, why don't you make it that GMR owns 1 cycle of 3 years, runs it 1 cycle of 3 years, and JSW runs it 1 cycle of 3 years? Because now it's 2 years, and I believe every team, every sort of management gets a legacy of the other management.
Yeah.
And perhaps it's better to do it 3 years, and get a clean look at a team so that there's one set of people who take all the calls for a team for 3 years. Another set of people have to take over, that's fine. But at least they get a cycle.
Yeah, see, consulting.
Roy McKenzie.
Consulting. This is what I'm talking about, consultancy. Sir, free mein mat do, sir. What you have to do here is just like you did the subtle plug for volleyball.
Yeah.
What you have to say here is, I've got a solution.
Hashtag.
And leave it.
Yeah, okay.
And then
Telephone number.
call me Monday morning. Okay. Yeah, that's what you got to do. But I like it. It's a good idea. Fair enough. But yeah, Delhi's got more questions than answers. They'll need to find these answers over the next 10 months. Best moment, best player.
Best moment for me was KL Rahul finishing in Bangalore and said, this is my ground.
Absolutely.
This is my ground.
I like it.
It was a defining moment for them. KL Rahul still delivered a 500-run season, by the way. So he's like a bank. You know there's 8% on your fixed deposit you're getting every year. So he's got that 500. Now, can you imagine if he had a great batting team around him? So eventually, I think you'll find KL Rahul back as opener next year. That's one opener less you got to search for. Find another opener, get a middle order power hitter to go with Tristan Stubbs, and maybe Akshar Patel 5-6 once again back there. So, and I mean, Mukesh didn't work for them. Natarajan didn't work for them.
I mean, they played Natarajan, one game, didn't he? I remember it was their mentor who said that we can't find a place in this team for Natarajan, which was just strange. Yeah.
And then you bowl Natarajan in places where he doesn't bowl. I mean, Natarajan was his most successful as a death bowler, as a guy who can put in Yorkers. Suddenly you're putting him in the middle, he thinks he's got a bowl length, he's disappearing. Yeah. And then you literally give him 1 or 2 matches. It doesn't make sense. So they've also not done a great job with a lot of their players. And I think again it doesn't seem to be a cohesive strategy. There seem to be too many minds, too many cooks out there. Yeah. Perhaps they need to sort that.
Okay. Well, we've got the 4 now that are left still in the tournament. The others gone home. Those are the ones we were talking about. And these are the 4 teams that it's come down to. Punjab, RCB, Gujarat, Mumbai. Punjab and Bangalore playing the first qualifiers, so they get 2 bites of the apple.
Thank you.
Like
Both of you have done this very nicely.
Yes. And the eliminator will be played between Gujarat and Mumbai. So let's start with Mumbai. It's a city where, a lot of films are made, a lot of dreams, a lot of stardust. And these guys seem to have that kind of script where, the hero kind of seems like a little wastrel in the beginning, just wasting his time, having fun. And then he grows up and becomes a force to reckon with.
Interval ke baad ka picture.
Yeah. Or they just do this every year, year after year. I wish they didn't, because if in those 5 games, the first 5 games, they won just 1, if they'd won another one,
they'd been top 2.
They would have been at the top, but they did. Remember, they didn't even have any Bumrah in 4 of those games. And then after that, there's just green all through. Mr. Bhogle, this team and their template, discuss.
They must come with a bang. Because with the team that they have, before the season started, everyone's saying, how do we stop Mumbai? Because every single base is covered. Excellent overseas picks in Bolt and Santner. So this team has every single corner covered. They should have gone first round. The bell rings, boom, knockout in the first round.
Yeah. But no boom, no? That's the problem.
No boom, boom, boom.
Boom
But they
not
kept
there for
circling.
first three,
They kept circling.
Yeah.
Even now, if you see, there's two key players in there who've not had the best tournament.
Yeah.
One is Rohit Sharma at the top, but Rohit Sharma is not an IPL great. Rohit Sharma delivers you 300, 350 runs. He's an India great, but he's not been an IPL great for a while.
Sure.
And he's finished the season 320 runs. But I still think that if there's one flick of a switch that'll make them unstoppable, even now from fourth, is Hardik Pandya becoming the player that we know he can be.
Yeah.
His batting still all right, but his bowling has dropped off alarmingly. I don't know if it's
It's not even been bowling. I think the last few games
He's hardly bowling.
He's hardly bowling.
I thought he should have bowled the super over that Deepak Chahar bowled. And on a couple of pitches where the ball was stopping was tailor-made for his style of bowling. I don't know if it's a confidence issue, but come the game against Gujarat, if Hardik Pandya switched on, he's one of the finest all-rounders in the IPL. He switched on, suddenly his Mumbai team looks different. Then it won't matter so much that Tilak Varma maybe is little out of form. I don't know if they'll bat Tilak at 3 or they've sent Asalanka at 3. Again, two very good buys. Besto scoring runs. He knows what it is to do well in the IPL. So Besto for Rickleton. Rickleton, by the way, one of the sleeper hits of the tournament.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned the movies, he was one of the sleeper hits. So Asalanka for Jacks and Besto for Rickleton.
Yeah.
Still looking a very good team.
True.
Bumrah at the tail end is going at an economy rate of 5 and 6. So apart from being taken down by Punjab in that astonishing run chase, one of the events of the IPL, they've actually had a very good season after the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
So you still got to back them to go well. I think, without being unfair to GT or without demeaning GT, they'd much rather play GT than the other two teams in their playoffs.
Well, the thing with, it's Jasprit Bumrah, right? So important, as we've mentioned. And Bumrah is, again, a player for all seasons, much like the Vida, a bike for all seasons. Yes. And that's the thing with him. He's built for all phases of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that middle overs 4.84 is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, given the quality of player that, the kind of, he comes in always when there's, pressure, when the batters are looking to score runs, and he comes in there and he just clamps it.
Yeah.
And to be able to clamp it, it's not that he's taken too many wickets in that period, but to be able to be economical at that period, even when you're not getting wickets, it means that you're just, the kind of variations. And that's what you're looking at. He comes in, he goes wide the crease, he bowls a slow one. The kind of variations that he brings to his play is absolutely fantastic. He's so stylish, he's so versatile. Versatile is the word I'm looking for.
They're the best bowling side in the tournament.
Yeah.
On all parameters, they're the best bowling side in the tournament.
Yeah.
When did they get taken down? When Santner got taken down. And I was watching that game against Punjab, and I thought Punjab were lighting fires everywhere, and Mumbai had only one fire engine.
Yeah.
And there was, let's look at Bumrah. Let's look at Bumrah. So every time there's a problem, let's look at Bumrah. So they still got to find a day if Bumrah is not doing well. They've got Santner, they've got Bolt, they've got Deepak Chahar. They've still got the bowling around there. Maybe not, they need a wristy. They need a proper wrist spinner, which I think they will address next year. But they need that little extra bite. But otherwise, they're the best bowling side in the tournament. They can still win it.
There's also one more thing. The last match you looked at it, given the number of fast bowlers that you have, and given the fact that, Hardik is not getting enough bowling.
Yeah.
Why play Ashwini? The thought was, at that point, if Karan Sharma had played...
Yeah, 1 over, he bowled Ashwini. That's it.
That's it. He went for 60 and that was it.
They thought it was a pace-off pitch. They thought fast bowler pace-off pitch.
Yeah, but see, some of the things that they've done, and if you look at margin of victory versus margin of defeat and you put it together, the best team in the tournament is actually Mumbai.
Okay.
Just have a look at the wins again,
Yeah.
and you'll see the kind of wins they've had. 9 wickets, 7 wickets, 54 runs, 100 runs, 59 runs. They're not small wins. Most of their wins have been big wins.
Well, all of them, they're humongous.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They actually flatten the opposition when they win.
But you know what's so interesting there? Is when you look at the Reds, they have basically lost to all the teams
above them.
in the qualifier, the other 3 teams.
Yeah.
So you see, there you go. They've lost to RCB. They've lost to Gujarat. In fact, they've lost to Gujarat twice.
And they lost to Punjab at the end.
Right? Yeah. And they've lost to Punjab just a few days ago. So, but do you think that this is the kind of team with all the experience that they have, with all the experienced campaigners, do you think this will play on their mind at all?
I think if I'm in the opposition, if I'm sitting in the Gujarat Titans camp and I'm looking at that and I think, damn, if they had that switch flicked on,
Yeah.
exactly what we talked at the start of the season, how do we stop this team? It's a juggernaut, this team. So it's just that it's got all these PowerPoints, not as in the presentation, just PowerPoints.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I know.
We're in
that's why.
consultant mode.
If they all start to move together, all the forces are aligned, they're moving together, they can still win this tournament, by the way. At the moment, my top seeds are RCB and Punjab, but I think if this team gets it right, led by Hardik, they can still go all the way through.
So
They've
basically,
got the
you've,
best batsman of the tournament as well in there.
you've chosen 3 out of the 4 teams as your top seed. Right? You see what he's doing?
No, my top seed is Bangalore.
Hedging his bets is what they call it in
my
consulting.
top seed is, okay,
Yeah.
I'll come hard. My top seed is Bangalore, my second seed is Punjab, my third seed is Mumbai, my fourth seed is Gujarat.
Tell you.
He's playing the odds because if you look at it in terms of qualifiers, in terms of if every match is a 50-50 encounter, then basically Punjab and Bengaluru have a 25% chance each, and the other 2 have 12.5. Yeah, sorry, I've got something.
Total 100, no, boss?
No. Why am I getting this wrong? What have I got wrong?
You know, I'll tell you what you've got
25.
wrong.
No,
you take a
25,
second, I'll tell you what you've got wrong. As a consultant, you have to call a mathematics consultant in and add his billing to your billing to do this math.
Correct.
You know nothing about consulting. I will teach you.
Okay,
I'll make you Dr. Bhattacharya.
Dr. Bhattacharya.
In 1 hour. That's what I'll do.
Can I buy a degree online?
Of course.
Anywhere in India, we are the home of buying degrees online.
Yeah. I'll sort it out for you. But. Okay, let's move to the next team. Sorry, you were talking about Sky. Sky has had a great season. Sky always has a great season.
The best number
Sky is
4 in the
amazing.
world.
He's the best T20 player, best T20 batter in the world. That's it. Story over. Discussion done about Sky. क्या बोलूं सर सूरज को प्रमाण देने वाली बात है नहीं दे सकते.
You know, there
Sky
was one
is-
innings in which he didn't hit a single ball behind on the leg side, which is his signature shot.
Yeah.
He's just had a phenomenal season, and yet you look back and say, did Sky tear attacks apart? Did he have a great season? Did he? Look at how many runs he scored at what strike rate?
Yep.
He's striking at 168 at 640. That is a season
Without
to dream
breaking
of.
a sweat.
Without breaking a sweat. That's what's great. It's 167 plus 70. We always do the math, right? Where you add the average and the strike rate. And there you go. It's like, what, 240 or something, right?
Very clever line.
Insanity.
Typical for Mumbai, Sky raining.
Sky raining. I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. I was going to say, sky is the limit. This guy, no limit. That's what happens with him. All right, let's talk about the Gujarat team. The Gujarat team, well, they have also been 1, 2, 3 Maharaja Mixi. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did.
1, 2, 3 Maharaja Mixi. They were also 1, 2, 3 was doing the job, but 3 is gone. That's right. Jos Buttler is no longer part of the team for the playoffs, so which means it's on to 1 and 2. 1 and 2 have done a great job as well. They've got about 1,300 runs between them. They have got opening partnerships that are, well, the average of their opening partnerships was 70.
900 runs together.
There you go.
900
I think
runs.
it's a record, right?
And they made 900 runs. He talked about Sky not without breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
These two guys are like that cool ad that Virat appears in.
Yeah.
Cool. 4.
Yeah, so
900 runs at 9.6 and over.
Yeah.
Just having a net. It's been incredible. You wonder how long it'll last. But that is also the problem. On the day it doesn't last, there's an issue.
Yeah.
And now going into that game, they will have to change the structure of that side and play an extra batter, because they've suddenly realized what all of us were talking at the start of the season. The reason I didn't have Gujarat in my top 4 is that if those top 3 don't fire, then suddenly there's a vacuum. Shafin Rutherford will score a few, Shah Rukh will score a few, but those top 3 have to fire.
Yeah, And I mean, the top two, these two, just let's talk about them for a second, because with Sai Sudarshan and Shubman Gill, they've been the two batteries that have powered the Gujarat Titans, much like the batteries that power the Vida. And it just keeps going on and on and on and don't stop.
And they keep overtaking each other on the run scored tally. You know, one guy goes ahead, then the other guy goes ahead. And again, I think what we're talking about is, again, very unharried performance by both of them. You know, the one that they chased 200 in, you know, without breaking the sweat, was it Delhi? In Delhi it was. Who did they chase? They chased Delhi. 200 with it was Delhi, right?
Yeah.
And they just didn't allow them to come into the game. I mean, the way they played, and it's the calmness of the chase. It didn't look explosive at all. It didn't look as if they were hitting the ball hard at all. Finished. The game is over.
Yeah.
And they did it with ease. And
they
that's
did it in so many games, Joy.
Yeah.
Well, that game is more dramatic, but they did it in so many games.
True.
I mean, there were games when Butler's sitting there at 3 and he's saying, right,
Waiting. Just
it's not
waiting.
coming.
Yeah.
And yet, you talk about these two fantastic seasons. Butler's given you a 550 season, by the way.
Yep. True.
It was an extraordinary season. It's a lot. You've got to go many years back to see a top 3 like this.
But see their wins, right? When they're chasing.
Easy.
They've won by 8 wickets, 7 wickets, 7 wickets, 10 wickets, which means that these guys are just getting the job done at the top.
Yeah, but the last 2 matches they didn't manage to chase.
Yeah.
Because they were the last 2 of the really significant failures of the top 2.
Also, they're bowling, because they gave away 230 in each match.
Yes.
Right?
So they have done this with the world's greatest ever spin bowler having a season to forget.
Yeah.
In spite of that, these 3 batters have carried them along.
Yeah.
So the bowling
Even with
has...
Siraj.
Yeah.
Mohammad Siraj also
Siraj
lost his
has
way.
tapered off.
Yeah.
Prasidh Krishna has had a fabulous season.
Yeah.
Fabulous season. There's something about fast bowlers. They go to Gujarat and they have great seasons. It looked that way when Siraj was bowling that well at the top. Yeah. So Siraj, Prasidh Krishna.
7 wickets in the first 5 games.
Even
as did
Arshad Khan
Siraj.
came and bowled well for them.
Little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit. They didn't get much from Harsha. They didn't get much from Ishant.
Yeah, Ishant.
They got very little from Rabada.
Yep.
So they went back to Kudzia. So I think what's happened in the last 2 games is a few fault lines have emerged.
Yeah.
So now, this Sunday, there's no Butler. If one of them goes early, you're getting Kusal Mendes, who I've been saying for the last 10 years is a wow player, but he's not gone sort of on a different trajectory.
Yeah.
When he comes off, he's a brilliant player, but they lost Glenn Phillips early, but they didn't have much room for him. Now suddenly, Tewatia, who plays 2 balls every fortnight, because of those top 3, suddenly that batting orders got exposed.
Yeah.
So do they play Washington Sundar again? Do they play Mahipal Lomror again? Because they definitely need another batter. The moment they need another batter, how does that start affecting their bowling? So they're the one side that's going into this tournament with a lot of wows and suddenly a couple of question marks.
Yeah.
From the wow, it comes to the how. So how are they going to win this eliminator?
Also, yeah, and they have a consistent policy of the way they pick their team. They have a consistent policy of playing with 7 bowlers. I mean, that's how they structure it. So they have 7 bowlers because they fix their batting combination in such a way that while batting, they take the chance of playing that extra, not deciding on that extra batter, but keeping a bowler in there. So that if one of the batters collapse, if the team collapses, they'll bring in the extra batter. So they try and keep those 7 bowlers intact.
Yeah.
The point was the days that just doesn't work, you could be in trouble.
What you don't want for Gujarat Titans is what used to happen to India in all World Cups and Champions Trophy.
Top 3.
Where Rohit, Shikhar and Kohli hammer everything, and suddenly one day if you're 34, you say, oh, the script change. But bhai, script kidhar hai? Script. You know?
Exactly.
So they've got to guard against that in the playoff.
Got to give credit to this team, though, that 4 years and 3 playoffs.
There's something right in that team.
1 trophy, 1 final, and now playoffs.
The air they're breathing in that team, there's something right in that team, because this team, when you looked at the start of the season, you saw ability, but you saw a lot of vulnerabilities in this team. And they've papered over those vulnerabilities so far. And that you've got to give credit to them.
Fair. But football-like manager that they have, who's pretty much their impact player on the field, running around long off, running plays from there. But there is something very interesting that happens with the team. Spent some time with them and saw that there is just we keep talking about the mahal. The mahal is just really cool in that team. All right, well, let's come to now the top 2. But before that, I want to ask you, in this eliminator, Gujarat and Mumbai, you're saying Mumbai is your favorite. You've said, Harsha. For you, Joy?
I think Mumbai is the favourite. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they're just a very powerful team that's been blown out by a sensational performance by Punjab. I think they're too good to be beaten like this 2 days in a row.
Yeah, I just hope there's a young 25-year-old who's just been made captain of the Indian Test team. I just hope his mind is still here.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You have a position that the greatest in this country have occupied. Whether you're going all the way back to the Hazares of the world and whatever, but you start with the Gavaskars, the Kapil Devs, the Tendulkars, the Kohlis, the Dhonis, the Kumbles, the Gangulis. And now, can you dream of that? Or can you dream of this? And at 25, can you separate the two? So I feel a little bit for Shubman here.
Yeah. Well, let's see what they do. There's the eliminator, but they're going to play later. The teams that are going to play first, which is going to be the qualifier, is going to be this team. Well, I'm going to start with this team. And first, I'm going to flash a QR code on the screen because I said on that stormy night of 20th of March, 2025, 18-18, that it's going to be this team's season. And, well, you've seen what has happened so far. They've been super consistent. They've won a great game yesterday. They've qualified 1 or 2. So all major currencies accepted. UPI, all UPIs accepted. I'm also accepting telegrams, Bitcoin, all cryptocurrencies, anything that...
They all go into that big dark hole where all those red tables went.
That's true. Those red tables are going to be worth a lot.
Even Trump has not shilled so openly for his own resources.
I'm learning from
while
the
on
best.
show.
I'm learning from the best.
Even Trump hasn't done it so...
Trump is a crypto
not
company,
so
right?
blatantly, yeah.
Isn't Trump a crypto company?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he got them into the White House to sit there and, for $1 million a ticket, come there and, you can do the same. Get them to sit on the red chairs.
Can I charge you guys? Just anything, something, anything, sir. Solve, sir. Little bit. No problem. But first, one sec. If I want to do that, orange makeup lao thoda sa. Thoda lagao. No? बाद में लगाएंगे. Okay. They've been super consistent for the last few years, as we're talking about the big Cheeto in America, super consistent when it comes to shilling. Is super consistent as well. When you look at this team from 2020, it's actually, it doesn't come as a surprise. They've been winning 7, 8, 9 games every season. And that really is no mean feat.
It's the consistency that they've craved over the years.
Yeah.
Over the years, they've had all the big names, all the attention, the glamour, the lights, everything. They're like this big movie. They're like the new Mission Impossible movie. Here's Tom Cruise. But hang on, who else?
Yeah.
This year, everybody else.
Wow.
And I think that's been the big difference. And you've got
8 players of the match.
Yeah, Virat Kohli storming at the top. Hazelwood, brilliant. Who's like when you build that setu, you've got all the big rocks. The Vanar Sena puts the big rocks, and it's held together by the little pieces of little pebbles, the cement there. So who's the little cements in here? Yash Dayal bowls a very good over. Krunal Pandya has the best season of all. I think Krunal Pandya, the heartbeat in many ways of that team. Devdutt Padikkal suddenly comes in and you say he's a 115 strike rate player, right? No, he's not.
Yeah.
So you see around the Kohlis and the Hazelwoods and the Salts, Romario Shepherd comes and wins 1 game. Tim David comes and wins 1 game. Krunal Pandya has a great season. And suddenly you see everyone is doing well in there.
Yep.
And then that innings that we've spoken about for a long time from Jitesh Sharma.
All the parts are amazing, much like the Vida. All the parts are working and they're amazing and they're stylish and they're cool and they're performing well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's what I want to say. You've got to have gone from a situation where, what was this? This was basically, it was like a Sholay, or a Diwar, okay? 1 star, 2 stars, to becoming a Jani Dushman. 7 stars. All of them. All people. Houseful 5. Lots of people.
Love it.
And that's what you're doing. Basically, you moved from 1 or 2 stars to many stars. And I have a management lesson on this.
Yes.
This arch is called a keystone.
Okay.
And the keystone is that one stone that puts an arch together. Okay?
Yeah.
And that keystone is changing every match. Last match, it was, we could Jitesh do it.
Yeah.
And that keystone changing is holding the entire mega structure together. National Geographic mega structure.
Love it.
Putting it together.
I love it.
So this is my management lesson as to how you construct an arch.
I love it.
Create a keystone.
I also want to tell you that this is the first time in the history of the world that the words management lesson and Jani Dushman have shown up in the same sentence.
Where did Jani Dushman?
Have you not seen it?
Have you not seen
it?
so many?
The 1979
Jani Dushman and Nagin
No,
and all those movies came
you're talking
around
about
that
the recent one. You're talking about
No,
the
I'm
20-year-old.
talking about the 79
time.
version.
The original Jani Dushman.
Do you know the star cast? From Sanjeev Kumar to Jitendra to Vinod Mehra to, it was the most amazing film.
But Joy, this is not that star cast. This is like a proper star cast movie. This is like Murder on the Orient Express, where even the small roles you've got big stars.
Yeah, right. Murder on the Orient Express is actually a brilliant
But
example.
Can you imagine a team where you've got a Virat Kohli and he's not the only shining light in the team? Virat Kohli is one of the lights. And when Virat Kohli is one of the lights, can you imagine a team you've put together? What I loved about this team was Hazelwood went away. You got Lungi and Giri had 2 good games. Suddenly no Hazelwood, no Lungi and Giri. Tushara comes and bowls 4 overs for 26.
Oof.
I don't have Tim David. Jitesh Sharma comes and plays that role. I don't have Romario Shepherd comes and plays that role. So all that this team needs now, Mayank Agarwal comes and plays a fabulous innings.
Yeah.
All this team needs now is one Patidar getting it right.
Yeah.
And then you're looking and saying,
I mean, he has won 2 player of the match, so he's contributed this season as well.
So
They just need
that's
him.
the reason they're my
48
top 6.
matches, wins out of 88. They have the maximum wins in the last 5 seasons.
Yep.
So any team. So consistency, they are the consistent team. They are the one with the most spread out man of the match award winners. So I think overall they're doing an amazing job. And you think of this team, there was a time when they had Gill, De Villiers, Kohli, Watson,
Yeah, but
and 1 year Yuvraj, and 4 or 5 big stars, and they were never as consistent as they are now.
Yeah, and they really, and I gotta
bowling.
say, like the fans of RCB, a lot of times they've been kind of the butt of jokes, right? Because the team's not won, and I love how they back their side. Wait a second, these words, how they all come in the same sentence? But anyway, the way they've backed their side has been amazing, and they get behind their team, and it's so ironic that the whole stadium gets packed and they don't win at home, but when they go away, they win, and that's good news again because the qualifier is not happening at Chinnaswamy. The qualifier is happening at Molanpur, and I really think, I genuinely believe, even though Punjab is having an amazing season, I really feel that something is aligning for Bangalore this year. You need an X factor to win. You need the universe almost to conspire for you to win.
What did you get in your last match in a situation where you were 123 for 4 and your talismanic player Virat Kohli gets out? Jitesh Sharma walks in and scores the highest runs ever scored by a batter batting number 6 or below in an IPL innings.
Oh, are you serious?
The guy who used to hold the record before this was MS Dhoni with 70. Nobody has scored that many runs batting at a position 6 and below.
Yeah, he scored in 33 balls. He had 80. How many did he have? 83? 84?
it was just an incredible innings. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
But since you mentioned home and away, it gets curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah.
They played 2 games in Lucknow.
Yeah.
One is a home game.
Yeah, and
one
one's
is
an away game. Yeah.
In the away game.
Not the home game.
Did they? Or was it the other way around?
Jeez.
No, they lost the home game and won the
exactly.
away game.
Yeah.
There you go.
So even there, it's gone to pattern, right? Because the first game was a home game.
So if you want to beat RCB, what do? Tell the rain to go away and move the final to Bangalore.
Wow.
And by the way, if Punjab's record at home is not exactly great.
Yeah, wow.
So those stars seem to be aligning better for RCB.
Wow.
If the final-
Do you then say, for Bangalore fans to say, it's coming home, it's coming home? They're like, no,
not home,
It's
not-
coming away, it's coming away. They just change the song a little
But the
bit.
decks have been clearing for a long time. Right
Yeah.
through the season, the decks have been clearing. And I think we've got to also tell that background, that back room.
We got there. We got there eventually.
Backroom staff is
Yeah, it's done really well. And then, of course, service as usual. Virat Kohli, 600-run season. Boring. It's just boring now. Come on, Yajiku. What is this?
No, not
Again?
boring. You saw him bat in the last, and not boring. This is not the 125 strike rate Virat Kohli.
Hey, listen, he's just another. I'm just saying that another season.
I'll tell you what he did
Normal service.
last game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's not. I just want to add one thing.
Yeah, go on.
We're looking at that strike rate. First innings, 150 plus strike rate. Second innings doesn't matter because he's converting those
You're
chases,
chasing,
right?
yeah.
So that's
The
strike
average
rate
of
doesn't matter.
114 is
But look
better.
at the average there, which means that he holds that innings together. So all the numbers are pointing in the right direction, irrespective of that 600-run season. All the other mini numbers below that are also correct.
Before this game, they had chased only 170, 175. A 170, 175 chase is like putting fish on Joy's table.
Yeah.
He has it every day.
Yeah.
I was curious to know how will Virat Kohli play in a 220-run chase? Will we suddenly see a different player? And guess what we saw? There's an over from Will or Roque yesterday. And everyone talks about the Kohli cover drive. There's a Kohli pull shot that you must watch where he swivels, hits one in front of to mid-wicket, hits one front of square. Basically, he's saying, okay, I've hit one there, I've hit one there, I've hit one there, and he maxed the 220 chase, but he wasn't there at the end. He played his part and he moved on because he was playing a different kind of game. And when one of your players is giving you 600.
And this is
fantastic.
And this is the same guy who gave you a 973-run season.
Correct.
And that was, like you said last year, 9
years
years
ago. Yeah.
Still giving you a 600-run season. It's just brilliant. Come on. 18-18. Can it happen? So before we move on to the next team, just want to tell you that Jani Dushman, Ek Anokhi Kahani of 2002, directed by Rajkumar Kohli, had Akshay Kumar, Sunil Shetty, Arman Kohli, Sunny Deol, Sonu Nigam, Johnny Lever, Arshad Varse, Ditya Pancholi, Amrish Puri, Raj Babbar, Azam Murad, Aman Verma, Sharad Kapoor.
The reason I'm laughing is I knew exactly what Joy was going to do because he's gone Googling the Jani Dushman of 1979.
Exactly.
That sounds great.
Wait a minute, I have something to tell you.
Who directed that Jani Dushman? Take a look.
Amrish Puri, Sunil Dutt, Sanjeev Kumar, Raza Murad, Shatrughan. No, this cannot be that Jani Dushman. Wait, this is not that Jani
Jani
Dushman.
kitne dushman le aaye ho.
He'll get there. Aram se. It takes him a little
Sunil
while.
Dutt, Sanjeev Kumar,
Correct.
Jitendra, Shatrughan Sinha, Vinod Mehra, Rekha, Reena Roy, Neetu Singh, Yogita Bali, Bindya Goswami, Sarika. Take that.
Directed by?
Directed by.
So we were just counting heroes.
Directed by? That's the reason I'm asking you. Directed by?
Yeah. We have Manisha
It was produced by
Koirala.
Rajkumar Kohli.
Correct. So
Yes.
he's got Jani Dushman twice.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to Punjab then.
Same. Now to Bangalore's Jani Dushman, because that's what's going to be in the qualifier, is Punjab, who finished numero uno. That's right. Punjab has finished number one. Once again, Shreyas Iyer, the captain. Now the third team that he's taken to the qualifiers. That's a record, right? That's a record.
Yeah, I don't think.
No, the captain's
no
done
other
it with three
captain's
teams.
done that, yeah. No.
And all kind of a turnaround because with KKR, it was after 10 years that they won. Right? It's after 10 years, 14 to 24.
Delhi didn't know
Punjab.
what it was to make the final.
Delhi didn't know what it was to make the final. You're right. Shreyas did that. And now Punjab, who's done it after 11 years. They had Virender Sehwag and Murli Karthik playing in that squad. That was that long back, 11 years ago.
And the producer very kindly told me that, yes, nobody else was stupid enough to release a captain two times after he's make them qualify for a
Yeah, fair enough.
playoffs.
He's not.
Fair.
Nobody is releasing him from Punjab for a
There's not going to be a third stupid?
No.
There's no stupid?
No, and I'm not going to be in that frame.
Yeah. That's it. It's
If
not
Joy
gonna happen.
wants to do it. I'm just getting out of frame.
Yeah, you're getting out of it.
Punjab is
Who
definitely...
played you? Do you know the name of the guy who played you?
I don't
In
know.
the ad?
But I don't know. I just felt so sad for the casting director who must be thinking, I think I might cast for Katrina Kaif, I might cast for Alia Bhatt, I might cast for Karthik Aryan. Sorry, you're casting for Harsha Bhogle. Job doesn't get worse than that.
Can you imagine how expensive he is that they have to use his body double for an ad? It's like, we can't afford the real one. Let's get a body double. It's okay, sir. We are free after this. If you want us to come and count your billions, we are available.
And we have management experience.
We are consultants. We will charge you very good friends and family rate per hour. No problem at all. And we will be getting a few counting consultants with us as well. Well, it's if you want to count the good things that Punjab has done, well, that list is very, very wrong. The first thing they did correct, as we said, is get Shreyas Iyer in as captain. And after that, it's pretty much just all greens. It's a bit like driving in Chandigarh, isn't it, Joy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where everything is just so smooth.
And that's the point, that this is the one team the teams have either done badly and then started improving towards the end. This team dominated from the start. They were 5-2 in the first part, and they just kept that. They were always at least 2 games ahead. The margin never got below that. And I think that's what they did very consistently. They always bounced back from losses. I'm trying to look at it. I think they didn't lose 2 consecutive games in the season. Let's take a look again.
Yeah, they haven't.
They haven't lost 2 consecutive games. They've never allowed it to slide.
A good thing they did, Harsha, was that everybody had their position. They played their position. They knew their position. They were comfortable. They knew their job role. And that just stayed static right through the season.
I'm absolutely convinced, having seen this year's Punjab team particularly, that talent is fairly evenly spread across franchises.
Yeah,
It is the conditions that you create, the air that you breathe within the side for the talents, that determines where your team goes. You look at this side at the start of the season, the same batting order. Yeah. I'm going to open with Priyansh Arya and Prabh Simran Singh. Prabh Simran Singh is like that firecracker that you buy out of my kind of pocket money. It comes off fizz, but it's over. Your pocket money is over. Now you got to go hoping for your neighbor's pocket money.
I like that analogy.
This generation won't even know what I'm talking about.
I like it.
Priyansh Arya. Who's Priyansh Arya? Yeah, I know he hit 6 sixes in the Delhi Premier
South
League.
Delhi superstars.
Correct.
Stars with a Z.
Superstars.
So he's saying, I'm starting with these two. Then I'm going to my retained player. Shashank is my retained player.
Yeah.
I'm going to have Nehal Vadera as my key middle order player. And you're saying, I mean, this is like Jani Dushman on a $10 budget. Yeah. But each of these players, they're playing Mumbai and they play, I'll never get over that. They play six players who are uncapped Indians, and Josh Inglis, who at 30 is suddenly discovering life. It's an incredible what they've done.
They had just so many runs from their local
1650 plus scores just from Indian batters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Just one
only Josh English.
Josh English, yeah.
But also if you see that the top three, I mean, Shreyas moved down a little later. The top three are all 400 plus seasons. Then when you get into 4, 5, 6, you don't need a 400 run season. You start looking at strike rates.
Yep.
Look at that strike rate column over there. Even Nehal Vadera, who's in that middle order, he's striking 150.
Yep.
Shashank 149 is coming in at the end. So that strike rate doesn't change, and that is a classic thing. When you get to 5, 6, you don't need 400 run seasons.
Yeah.
You need 250, 300 at a certain strike rate.
True.
But what they have done, they've got this big, giant overseas consultant, and he's planted Indian crops.
I love you.
Yeah.
And they've all flowered. And you look at that team. Sir, the story we told at the start of the program.
Coach Global runs local.
He's done something incredible. Him and Shreyas Iyer have done something fascinating with that team.
Yeah. And
So the big parts, who's played the big parts? Inglis, Stoinis, Janssen, Janssen more than a big part, let's be honest. Umarzai, the key roles are played by the Indian players, and the filling is all the overseas players. This team can play for another 3 years.
Yeah, it really can. And what they did is, what Ricky Ponting and Shreyas Iyer did is that they trusted the young Indian players. Much like the Vida is trusted on road by everybody, they trusted the young Indian players to do their job. And somewhere in that trust, they just unlocked their potential. Maybe they just gave them that security, they gave them that freedom, and they've just all flowered.
Consulted. There's a word for you.
Absolutely.
Empowered.
Empowered them, yes, absolutely. And I just love it because that interview, for example, Ricky Ponting had said, was it an interview where he was talking about Prabh, he was raving about Prabh Singh to somebody. And he said before the tournament that this guy's an absolute gem, he will kill it. Now imagine that news going back to Prabh Simran, the kind of confidence he'll get saying that, okay, this is what my coach thinks about me. And I think a lot of that they've done so well. Remember something, this is a team where 2 of their key buys, their most expensive and key buys, have done zip for them. Okay, and a third really hasn't contributed all that much. Lockie Ferguson injured. Okay, he is their middle overs enforcer bowler, gone, injured, out of the tournament. Okay. Glenn Maxwell, he's done nothing. He's done more with the ball, which is also not very much, and nothing with the bat. Zip. You've got 2 of you. Marcus Stoinis, he's had 1 decent innings.
Yeah.
He's not bowled at all, very rarely in this tournament.
13, 14 overs in the... No wickets.
So we are talking about a situation where 3 of your top international players have done nothing for you, and they've still done that well.
Yeah, and let's talk about Arshdeep Singh. Because he, again, season after season, leading wicket taker for India in T20s and just growing from strength to strength. There's a lot of left-armers there at the top, but just amazing.
Top 3, but to bowl at 7.95.
Yeah. In the power play, in overs 1 to 3.
In the overs that he bowls, sometimes 1 is a good over to bowl, so we'll factor that in. But 7 wickets in those first 3 overs, which means he's setting up the game for you early.
Yeah.
And that is his role. So suddenly he's in this team and he's told Arshdeep Singh, you are our Bumrah. You have to go and do it. So that is why I love the word empowered. He's told Priyansh Arya, go and play the game that you want.
Yeah.
So you see how Prabh Simran grows as the season goes along. He plays two different kinds of roles as the season goes along. Nehal Vadera chips in the middle. Shreyas says, doesn't matter. I think Josh Inglis against pace, he's going to break that the opposition. I'll come in at 4 because I'm a more rounded player than Josh Inglis is, and I'm the best player of spin in that side. So you see the roles that have been assigned, the roles that they are playing, and they bat all the way down to 9. There's Azmatullah Umarzai, one of the finest young all-rounders in the world, bats at 4 for Afghanistan. He's batting down at 8 or 9. Marco Jansen comes and smashes it at 7 for South Africa. He's batting down there at 8. So if you take 4-5 wickets, you think Stoinis is going to come. Stoinis the other 8, 40 of 13, 14 balls or something.
Yeah.
So they've got power all the way down. But to me, the big thing for this Punjab side was those two openers up at the top. Priyansh Arya, Prabh Simran Singh, you construct a championship winning side potentially in your mind around those two openers.
You know, I think that Punjab will not mind that there's all this frenzy about RCB, right? Because again, Punjab would be a new name on the trophy, much like RCB would be a new name on the trophy. And let's face it, there's a lot of frenzy around, RCB qualifying and being there. I don't think Punjab will mind it because it's like, that's fine, man. Just quietly, let's do our job because you haven't won it till you won it. So, why have all this fuss? And they'll be looking at that and fancying their chances because they have had an amazing tournament. Actually, it's very difficult to find any major blip in their campaign.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that every time they've lost one match, they've come back immediately.
Yeah.
And what I love about it, for me, what's the highlight of the campaign? You score 245 runs and it's chased down by SRH. The next day, you're defending 111 against KKR and win by 16 runs.
Yeah.
I mean, that is actually tells you how much resilience this side has.
And who masterminded that defense of 110? We haven't even talked about him. It was Yuzi Chahal.
Yeah.
So
we'll come back now.
We'll come back now. So at different times, different people. You talked about RCB. You talk about them here too. At different points, different people have come in and
they've also had 7 players of the match.
Yeah.
Is Punjab the closest out of all the 10 teams to having a flawless season? They've had a flawless season
so far.
Yeah.
So far, yes.
The closest to.
What did Ricky Ponting say yesterday? Half the job done.
Nice, I like that.
Don't celebrate. In a land which has the most rumbustious, energetic, come look at me dance, they're saying, happy. Niche. Pani halke se bahega hamara. We are not a flowing river. Halke se bahega.
So the Bhangra, they're singing Rabindra Sangeet instead of the Bhangra. It's soft. It's subtle.
Okay.
Rabindra Sangeet, Kolkata.
Why couldn't you say like Ghazal or couldn't you say Carnatic
I could
music?
have. I could have.
You had to go.
No, this is my management
Supremacy.
style.
It's your supremacy. It's your Bengali supremacy. Let me be Punjabi, yeah. Let me be Punjabi. Uncle Charminar, would you like to say something?
नहीं आप बात कर लो दोनों सुन ले मैं बहुत ज़्यादा बोल लिया मैं खत्म हो गया मेरा जो भी पेट्रोल
We really like it. It's so nice. Before we go, as you know that no show these days on any forum is complete without a rapid fire.
Mayra Sere.
Yeah?
No, that's Bengali for I've had it. Anyway.
What is the word? Say it again. I think this could be useful.
I said Mayra Sere.
Mayra Sere.
Which is actually not even Bengali, it's Bengal.
Oh, I thought there's a galaxy next to the
Milky Way?
Galaxy.
Yeah. It says, it's like mar gaya. Oh ho.
Mar gaya.
Oh ho, mar gaye. Mar gaye, like that. Okay, excellent. Say that after the question. I think you'll get most of them. So I'll go. This is just to test how well you remember the league stage. It's quite easy actually, to be honest. Which bowler has bowled the most dot balls?
Prasidh Krishna.
At one point it was Mohammad Siraj.
And at this point is
it
also
was Siraj at one
Good
point.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's correct. This is that point.
Yeah, this is that point.
This is that point and 1 point for you. Which cricketer has the most 50s this season?
Kohli.
Sir,
Yes.
2 out of 2.
8.
Sir, आप tension मत लो. Problem is you're taking pressure.
I'm taking pressure.
Just sit back, relax, enjoy the flight.
Okay.
Which player mimicked Rathi's celebration in the game he was
Akash
suspended? Well done,
So you have to wait till the question gets over.
for the buzzer.
Okay, sorry.
Very nice. 2-1. Which debutant took a wicket with his first ball this season?
I asked this question. I asked this question. Oh, hell.
Vipraj Nigam.
No.
No.
Give the team, I'll tell you. I've asked this question on.
Give the first name also, tell me.
I'll
The
just
second
tell you
name?
that he dismissed a KKR batter.
I've asked this question as a list of people who have taken first ball wickets.
Yeah.
God, no.
It's not God.
No.
It's Ashwini Kumar.
Am I? I covered that game. I might have called it also, for all that you know.
But if it was at the Eden Gardens, you've forgotten those ones. No, it's just wiped it out from the memory. I finished.
No, Ashwini was, I think, there.
I think it was at
Wankete.
He was here?
Yeah, Wankete.
Naughty. I finished the league. Oh, so this is one of those questions. Who am I? Right? I finished the league stage of IPL as the highest wicket taker. Who am I?
Okay, Noor Ahmed.
That's right. I am Noor Ahmed.
Correct.
24 wickets.
This is a team effort, so...
Okay, yeah, exactly. We'll get whenever, as and when. Yeah, we missed one then.
No, for the quiz, you are Jani Dushman.
Okay, what Dushman? What is this?
Don't forget.
Management
I just let him
consultants.
say Noor Ahmed.
Yeah. He let him say. He let me say Akash Singh also.
रंग और नूर की बारात उसको पेश करूं.
Okay, I just want to tell you that this is the stupor over, okay?
Stupor over.
We're playing a stupor over now.
After the stupor over comes after the
After the?
rave party.
After the?
Rave party.
Rape party.
The rave party. I'm surprised you
I
didn't say
have no idea
dance
what that
party.
is, but-
You didn't say dance party.
Anyway, I have no idea. You must tell me.
Okay,
what
I have
that
the
is.
last question now. Whoosh. Ooh, I like this. This season, which bowler set the unwanted record for conceding the most runs in an innings?
I think it's Willow Rook, 73.
Will O'Rourke with 73 is the wrong answer.
Jofra Archer,
Jofra Archer with
76.
Well done. I like it.
oh, sign. आज की रेव पार्टी आपकी तरफ से.
वो क्या होता है उस पार्टी में बताना मेरे को.
Rave party,
I have
stupor,
no idea.
Yeah, rave parties are.
jeeps on dividers.
I don't know.
Usual Gurgaon stuff.
All boomer language for me.
Yeah. Rave parties, you have robbery and,
That's right.
save and robbery. That's why it's called a rave party.
That's right. That's right.
Robbery and
and
save.
save. That's right. Rave party. आए
You
हमारे
should come to one of these.
अंकल बूमर एंड चाचा चार मीनार आए हैं दोनों रेव पार्टी
अच्छा
करने.
आप ऐसा बोल रहे हैं जैसा केजी में जा रहे हैं अभी.
सर हमारा तो रोज का है. कभी शैंपेन, कभी रेव पार्टी, कभी डिस्को थी, कभी नाइट्स क्लब.
Nights club. I like nights club.
अपना रोज का है. डिस्को थी और नाइट्स क्लब अपना रोज का है. रोज. चलो अभी मैं लेके जाता हूँ इनको डॉक्टर भट्टाचार्य. चाचा चारमीनार तो बड़ा अच्छा नाम लग गया मेरे को. ये स्टिक चीचा चारमीनार और हम जा रहे हैं अब रेव पार्टी पे. We'll see you tomorrow on Cricbuzz Live when normal service will resume. Today's show, as you know, was a special show called Montu, who is the star of every rave party. So that's it, we're done. जाते जाते सर कोई थॉट्स मिस्टर हर्षा भोगले के लिए जो अब वापस नहीं आएंगे क्रिकबज़ लाइव पे.
सर वो मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टेंसी के नाम थोड़ा.
मैं नए चंडीगढ़ में जा रहा हूँ क्योंकि उनको अच्छा नहीं लगता मुल्लांपुर बोलने, तो उसका नाम बदल के नया चंडीगढ़ बनाया. मैं जा रहा हूँ मुल्लांपुर.
तो आप न्यू चंडीगढ़ जा रहे हैं.
नहीं, मैं मुल्लांपुर जा रहा हूँ.
हम यहाँ अपर वर्ली में बैठे हैं.
अपर वर्ली.
करेक्ट.
यहाँ से आप न्यू चंडीगढ़ जाएंगे.
एंड देन यू विल गो टू मिड जुहू.
That's right.
Okay, what is mid Juhu?
Yeah.
What is mid? Which one is mid now?
और न्यू कफ परेड.
न्यू कफ परेड. जो नाम देने दे दो सर.
हाँ.
I like it.
जो नाम देने दे दो. Just like New Gurgaon is now Jaipur. It's reached up till there.
न्यू जेन अल्फा.
Yeah, you're right. You're New Gen Alpha.
What is New Gel Alpha? Now you're confusing me.
रेव पार्टी मैं बताता हूँ. वहाँ चलते हैं. Okay, we're going to get into my Thar now and head to the new rave party. It's time for us to go. Big thank you to
You must
Harsha
have borrowed
Bhogle.
it from Karthik.
Yeah, I did. Big thank you to Harsha Bhogle and Joy Bhattacharya. Thank you very much. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Voltas Presents Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Do join us then. Thank you so much for being with us. Goodbye.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
Hyderabad Punjab Express Bengaluru Station Netaji Bhattacharjya Gaurav Kapur.